Presented by the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. Like no Honda you've ever seen.
Kind of a cool night, but that's not keeping people off the lake, and that's not keeping the roof closed here at Rogers Center. It's 16 degrees, but the roof is open tonight as Aaron Boone's New York Yankees try to complete a 2-game sweep of this mini series against the Blue Jays before the Yankees head back to New York to take on the Mets over the weekend. Here's a look at the lineup for the Yankees tonight. He was not in the lineup last night. He is in there tonight. He being Aaron Judge, and he has done a world of damage against the Blue Jays in just a couple of years in the big leagues. And Austin Romine, not a big name on this Yankee team, but look at these numbers. How about the backup catcher, always known for good defense, now swinging the bat the last couple of weeks like crazy.
Yeah, he's been much more productive than their starter Gary Sanchez in recent weeks, and he's got a chance to start again tonight. Sam Gaviglio makes his 4th start of the season. Last time out against the Boston Red Sox, he was okay, gave up a long home run to J.D. Martinez, but he is a interesting pitcher, and I emphasize the word pitcher. He moves the ball around, not overpowering. Opponents have hit just .220 against him. He's got a good whip at 1.02, but he throws sinking fastballs majority of the time. He'll set that up for his slider down and away to the righties, and he'll use a very effective split finger pitch against the left-handed hitters in this Yankee lineup. If Gaviglio's on his game, he's going to get a lot of action on the infield with that sinking fastball and the changeup. And with that, we thought we'd highlight Justin Smoak over at first base. He does not get the credit he deserves for having a good glove at first. In his rookie season in 2010 with the Texas Rangers, the manager, Ron Washington, worked long and hard with Smoak at scooping those balls out of the dirt. And Smoak says that's where he learned how to play such good first base for the Texas Rangers.
Brett Gardner leads it off again for the Yankees. Swung at the first pitch that he saw in last night's game for Marco Estrada and grounded out. Wound up 1 for 5 on the night. And away we go with the first pitch fastball in just above the knees for a called strike.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of these Yankees come to the plate tonight and get a look at a pitch or two against Gaviglio. First time they've faced him.
Russell Martin doing the catching tonight, and Gaviglio right on the outside corner with the knees to jump out in front 0-2. Gaviglio with Seattle and Kansas City last year. This is his 6th appearance, 4th start for the Blue Jays this year. And one thing we have seen, as you said, Buck, he's got to be fine. He's got good control. 16 strikeouts to only 3 walks in 3 starts.
Yeah, and he works very quickly. You see his career record for starts, 16 career major league starts going back to his time in Seattle.
Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And John Gibbons said before the game, yeah, it's the Yankees, but Gaviglio's got to go out there and do what he does. He can't be too careful. He can't try to be too fine. He's got to have the same game plan he's had against other teams. Ground ball. Gaviglio will let it go to Diaz. 6-3 on the putout.
Ledmus Diaz has played very well for the Blue Jays, and it's good to have him back at shortstop. Gardner runs very well, and with that, Diaz had to charge the ball, scoop, and fire in a hurry. His arm strength is better than advertised. Watch how quickly he gets this ball on its way to first base. He's got a lot on that throw to Smoak to retire Gardner.
And now Aaron Judge getting his first at bat of the series. Judge had the day off last night in the wake of that doubleheader the Yankees had on Monday in Detroit. As Aaron Boone said, he'd been looking for a day off for him. They discussed having it here. And then to compound things, perhaps, he went 0 for 9 with 8 strikeouts in the doubleheader in Detroit Monday. So a little bit of a mental break as well, perhaps, for Judge, who is striking out at a prolific rate. But he can do that and still be a very valuable guy, because when he does put it in play, it goes a long way.
Yeah, you see the 23 strikeouts in his last 13 games, but he's always a threat to hit it out of the ballpark. When he first came up 2 years ago, he literally struck out half of the times he came to the plate. And last year, when he had a great season, he struck out 208 times. So you don't worry too much about the strikeouts with Aaron Judge.
208 strikeouts and almost won MVP.
The game has changed.
Yep. So far, Gaviglio very good with his command. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Judge. And a check swing roller out to Travis at second. A well-located slider induces a weak ground ball.
Now, you'd really like to see a pitcher do a cartwheel after he gets a swing like that from Aaron Judge. Now, that'd really be cool, because Aaron Judge is always a threat to hit out of the ballpark, but Gavilia shows his strength right there by inducing a check swing slow tapper to the second baseman. Here's the pitch usage. 62% of the time he's going to throw fastball, and the majority of those fastballs will be two-seam sinkers. And then the sliders, 25%. That split changeup, very effective for him. And again, another Yankee hitter taking a look at the first pitch.
Couple of ground ball outs to begin the night for Gavilia. And with 2 down, the batter was Greg Bird, the first baseman, back off the DL about 10 days ago, hitting .242 with a couple of homers. Shift on for the Blue Jays with 3 on the right side. And there's another check swing, and it's fouled off 0-2.
Yeah, and Bird is not a veteran like some of these other hitters in this lineup. But hitters like to have experience against a pitcher. You can look at all the video you want until you see this guy live. You really don't have an idea about what he throws.
High in the air to left center field. Pilar and Hernandez are there, and it's Teoscar Hernandez to make the grab. And it's a 3-up, 3 down, top of the first. At the starting lineup for the Blue Jays tonight, Teoscar Hernandez finds himself in the 3 spot. He's got a couple of home runs off Sonny Gray, one of them earlier this season. And Kevin Pilar has some nice numbers, a .300 average and a couple of homers against Yankee pitching this year.
Right-hander Sonny Gray will make his 3rd start of the season against the Blue Jays. Overall for the season, this will be his 12th start. He's 4-4. He won his 4th game last time out against the Orioles. Pitched very well against Baltimore. His first start all season long that he did not walk a batter, threw 86 pitches over those 6 innings and allowed just 4 hits and a run. So Sonny Gray looking to build upon that start last time out, looking for a little more consistency.
Curtis Granderson in the leadoff spot for the Blue Jays again. He's in right field tonight. You've already seen Teoscar Hernandez is in left. And the first pitch, fastball in for a strike from Gray. The average down to .219. The on-base percentage still good because Granderson always willing to take a walk. And there's a ground ball out to D.D. Gregorius, the shortstop on the right side of the bag. 1 down.
Well, the shift worked very well that time as Gregorius was perfectly positioned up the middle. Austin Romine is catching Gray for the 10th time in his 12 starts. Managers want to avoid that personal catcher, but Romine has been so good with Gray. Catching Gray, when Gray throws to Romine, he's got a .420 earned run average. When he throws to Sanchez, it's .1563.
Here's Yangervis Solarte, first pitch swinging, and slices one out to left, but there to make the grab is Giancarlo Stanton, who's a right fielder in Miami. He's playing mostly DH for the Yankees, but with Aaron Judge kind of being entrenched in right, Stan's having to learn to play some left field.
Yeah, and it's a challenge, and the ball comes out there at a different angle off the bat, and you can see he's got his cheat sheet in his pocket, just a reminder for where he should position himself against this Blue Jay lineup. Tell you what, they're both good athletes.
Yeah. Here's Teoscar Hernandez. A quick 2 outs for Sonny Gray here in the bottom of the first. Mentioned Teoscar has a home run off Sonny Gray this year. He hit a home run last night. That moonshot that landed just fair and just over the fence down the left field line. Chase that slider away, 0-2. Gray, some very good years with Oakland. Best year was 2015. Had a 2.73 ERA that year in 31 starts. And he gets Hernandez again. Got him to chase even further on that slider. 3 up, 3 down, and Gray needed only 6 pitches to do it. He hit 59 last year, won the National League MVP, and Stanton and Judge 1-2 in baseball. Bucket home runs since the beginning of last season.
Yeah, pretty wicked 1-2 punch, top of the order, and then J.D. Martinez is right there with him, 65 home runs since the start of last season. And both Stanton and Judge, they strike out, but boy, when they get hot, they don't miss many pitches, and there's not too many ballparks that can contain them.
Inside, ball 1 to Stanton, who had a really rough April. Hit .218, had an OPS of .660 in April. Since then, hitting .273 with an OPS of .884 as he takes a strike. So the numbers since May 1st are very much in line with his career numbers. Last year was his best season, most homers, highest OPS, and so on. The April numbers kind of making his overall numbers seem a little bit worse than he would like. But since May 1st, he's pretty much been typical Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, I think he's just become comfortable in New York, playing for the Yankees, playing in the American League, just a nice comfort level. He's settled in. Stanton's playing in his 9th big league season, and so he's experienced. It's not that. It's just all of the hype that goes with playing for the Yankees. You mentioned it last night. It's quite a difference between playing for the Marlins and playing for the Yankees.
Well, new league, new expectations. Never really, obviously, National League player, so DH is now a thing. Left field is now a thing. I mean, he's had to deal with a lot of new experiences at the big league level this year. And he'll take a walk. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. With Buck Martinez and Arash Madani, I'm Dan Schulman. Sam Gaviglio on the mound tonight for the Blue Jays. No score, top of the second. A leadoff walk to Stanton. And now here's Gary Sanchez, who is the DH tonight. We've already seen Romine behind the plate. Sanchez hitting just .202, but is always a power threat. He's got a dozen home runs.
Sanchez just 3 for his last 36 with 12 strikeouts and no extra base hits over the span of his last 11 games. But you're right, 12 home runs despite his low batting average. He's always a threat to go deep.
In his career, he's hit 65 home runs in 857 at bats. So almost a home run every 13 at bats.
Yeah, and that's a record pace. You hit home runs like that. I don't care who you are, what position you play, you're having an impact on your offense.
Not surprisingly, with all the names that you've seen and the numbers that you've seen, the Yankees lead the major leagues in home runs right now with 96. Here's a ground ball up the middle. Travis's only play is to first, and he'll make it to get Sanchez. Stanton into second.
There's another situation we've seen all too often recently is the middle infielders not really communicating that well. Yeah, that was a tough play because Travis was going up the middle, but watch how Diaz, look where Diaz is. He's way over in the hole, yet he comes over and they almost collide. I mean, that can't happen. You've got to communicate before this pitch is thrown. But you can see, I mean, they just avoided disaster because they were anticipating Sanchez pulling the ball. Diaz was way in the hole, and he's just got to let Travis make that play on his own. There's no chance to get a play at second base. Luis Rivera has been talking about that and encouraging his infielders to communicate more often. Right before the pitch, you've got to clear your mind so there's no doubt as to who has coverage and who's going to make those tough plays on the comebackers.
Rivera in the middle there, the third base coach, but he also handles the infielders. So it's a runner at second, 1 out, and a 1-strike count on the shortstop. Didi Gregorius hitting .243 with 11 homers. And there's that two-seam fastball. You can see the movement from inside back over the inside corner of the plate. And it's only 88 miles an hour. Gaviglio tops out at about 90. But that late movement froze Gregorius. Gregorius got off to an incredible start, then endured a 4 for 67 rut. But since then is 9 for 28. That's a .321 average. So he has started to come out of it in the last week.
Yeah, he too is a veteran, and he's not going to panic. He's not going to get too thrilled about having a good start. He's not going to get panicked about a slump that lasts maybe 10 games or so.
And a ground ball for Justin Smoke. He'll make the play himself, 2 down, stand to third. That'll bring up Miguel Andujar, who certainly hurt the Blue Jays buck last night.
One swing of the bat with the bases loaded. He got a cutter from O that stayed on the inner half of the plate. He's a very aggressive hitter. And after O walked the bases loaded, it was a situation where Andujar was anticipating getting something good to hit, and he didn't miss it.
And he's got 7 home runs now. He's got 29 extra base hits in 50 games for the Yankees. And he's hitting over 300.
He's just the 3rd Yankee rookie to hit a grand slam. Horace Clark hit one in September of '65. Mike Pagliarulo hit one in September of '84.
That's an amazing stat.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
7 of his last 9 hits have gone for extra base hits. Boy, he's got swing on his mind. You can see the way he's set up. My old hitting coach, the late Charlie Lau, always used to look at guys and go, "Oh, Buckshot, he looks hitterish." Looks like he wants to hit.
So does that mean you try to get him to chase when he looks hitterish? Or be careful, yeah. Great advice. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Don't let him hurt you.
Now go get him. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Not only do the Yankees have some of the most prolific home run hitters in the game, they've got some of the most prolific rookie home run hitters in the game. 1, 2, 3 in the American League.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere when you come up with the Yankees, and it starts in spring training.
Slider is popped up and out of play.
Nice play by that fan. Had the benefit of sitting in that first row, leaned over and made a nice barehanded catch. But you talk about the Yankees and their tradition in spring training when Andujar and Torres and all these guys are performing for the manager in his first year, Aaron Boone. They are surrounded by Yankee legends, and it really makes you feel like you're part of something special.
2-2.
And one thing that happens during spring training is they don't allow you to get too big for your britches. I mean, you're standing next to Reggie Jackson and Goose Gossage and Ron Guidry and Willie Randolph and all these great Yankees, and you know it's hard to get out of line when there's so many stars that have played years and years of great baseball for this storied franchise. That rookies have a tendency to fall in place very quickly.
Gaviglio trying to strand this runner at third base. Blocked by Martin, and the count is full.
Well, Russell had a very interesting night last night. He had to handle a lot of those balls in the dirt. He does a good job. He stays on his feet, and he's such an athlete that he's able to get those very wide wild pitches. You can't block them. They're just too far away. You've got to stay on your feet and shift quickly to the outside and try to square it up and keep it in front of you.
Three-two. And Andujar would not chase that slider down and away. Second walk surrendered this inning by Gaviglio. Feels like from what we've seen from Gaviglio against righties, payoff pitch, big pitch, he's going to throw that slider to the outside corner a lot.
Yeah, he's just got to work on the corners, and if he's going to miss, he's going to miss away, and he'll take the consequences of a walk. So now he gets a fresh at bat against another hitter that's facing him for the first time.
Austin Romine is just a .235 career hitter, but he's hitting .373 this year as the backup catcher for the Yankees. And as we mentioned when we showed you the lineup, he's on an 11-game hitting streak right now, and it's a doozy. He is 15 for 32, a .469 average during that 11-game streak.
It's kind of like the streak that Luke Maile was on early in the season. Every time he got a hit, there were guys on base, and he was coming up with big hits.
Down and away, a ball and a strike. And Andujar took a very healthy lead and a bit of a jump and then put the brakes on at first on that last pitch.
You see his numbers with runners in scoring position, and Luke Maile had a similar stretch at the start of the season himself. So the backup catcher's enjoying a good start to their offensive season. You mentioned Andujar taking a big break. After that, Russ Martin came out in front of home plate to give the middle infielders a defense should he break for second.
Not going. And it's what a stop by Travis out at second, and on to Diaz to force Andujar and end the top of the second. An absolute rocket off the bat of Romine, but Devin Travis makes a sensational play to end the inning.
solid against the Blue Jays, only 3 hits given up in 7 innings of work. It was last winter that Sabathia was linked to Toronto with some interest in free agency and potentially pitching here. I spoke with CC about it today, and he reiterated that the connection with Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins from their Cleveland days together drove the conversation in the winter. Sabathia says Shapiro was like a second dad to him. They met when CC was 17, and that the now Blue Jays president has seen him every step of the way, good and bad. And Sabathia did not make a free agent trip to Toronto, but instead they met face-to-face with the team at the winter meetings, and ultimately the allure and familiarity and talent of the Yankees kept him in the Bronx. Sabathia told me, quote, "At this stage of my career, I want to win. That's all I'm worried about."
10th year with the Yankees, and that's one of the reasons why he stayed with the Yankees, feeling they have an excellent shot at winning this year. And boy, was he good last night, stymieing the Blue Jays through 7 really good innings.
Yeah, he just never ever threw anything over the heart of the plate. He didn't pitch with a runner in scoring position all night long. Blue Jays never had a runner in scoring position, despite the fact they hit 2 solo home runs. They never got a guy into scoring position during the 9 innings.
Justin Smoke quickly in the hole, 0-2 against Sonny Gray here to begin the bottom of the second. And that 2-seam fastball at 94 runs back over the inside corner for strike 3 call.
Yeah, we talk about having a personal catcher, and Sonny Gray, there's no question about it. He's thrown much better with Austin Romine catching him. He's working quicker. His pitch selection is much better. That's a 2-seam fastball, much like a Gaviglio fastball that runs back and catches the inside corner. But Romine, very good behind the plate. Sonny Gray has thrown 5 wild pitches this year. They've all been while Sanchez is catching. It's another aspect that gives a pitcher confidence. Romine won't let any of those pitches get away.
Kendrys Morales is the batter, batting 5th, DHing for the Blue Jays tonight. Diving stop at first by Bird. Gray covering, 2 down. You know, Buck, when the Yankees picked up Gray at the trade deadline last year from Oakland, and he'd had some very good years for Oakland, and also had a very rough year. 2016 wasn't his best season, but he was pitching better last year. And when they got him, I think the idea was this guy could be that number 2 starter they're looking for. But Gray has not pitched as well in New York as I think they expected he would, or as they hoped he would. Now he's shown flashes of it, but the walk percentage is up, as you mentioned. He just hasn't been the same guy that he was for much of his tenure in Oakland.
I think there's a lot of things that go into it, and you've seen this before. We've seen it over the years where successful players playing elsewhere then come to New York, and it's not the same for them, whether they're a position player or a pitcher. I mean, there have been some great pitchers that have gone to New York and have just absolutely fallen on their face. Kenny Rogers comes to mind. Jack McDowell. Ed Whitson was another guy that went there and was a good pitcher, but never could handle the bright lights of Broadway.
One hopper right past Gray, but out to second where Torres is stationed. Millar grounds out, and it's another 3-up, 3-down inning.
event presented by Hudson's Bay. Give Dad the gift of baseball and join in the WestJet flight deck for the Dad's Den. The Nationals are in town, 1:07 start. BlueJays.com for tickets. Bryce Harper actually attended Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final, Dan, wearing a Vegas Golden Knights jersey.
Well, I mean, that's a conflict for him. Where you play or where you're from. That's a tough one.
Max Scherzer and Ryan Zimmerman went decked out in sweaters, helmets, and hockey sticks. That's pretty awesome.
Here's Gleyber Torres to lead off the third for the Yankees. No score in this game. Neither team has a base hit yet. And Gaviglio's in with a fastball at the knees for a strike. Torres hitting just a bit under 300, 298, 10 home runs on the season. He has solidified himself as the everyday second baseman, and was Todd Tichenor, the home plate umpire, hearing it from the Yankee dugout about the strike zone. Sure looked that way. Sure sounded that way. And there's a no doubt about it strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, there's a lot of guys in that dugout that'll chirp at umpires. I don't know if it was the manager or bench coach. Some players will do it, and Todd Tichenor heard something after that first called strike.
And a good slider away, a swing and a miss, and that's it for Torres.
Well, and that's what Gaviglio does when he's on his game. He'll throw sinking fastballs in the zone and then throw you a wipeout slider. This is what pitchers will talk about, a strike to ball slider. It starts out in the strike zone and breaks down and away and gets Torres to chase it.
And again, against the righties, that certainly appears to be the go-to pitch for Gaviglio, especially with 2 strikes. Here's Brett Gardner, who grounded out his first time up. And there's a curveball, slower breaking ball, just 77, and it drops in for a strike.
I thought Russell Martin had one of his best games last night calling pitches for Marco Estrada. He was on everything. He had a great feel for it last night. There's the changeup.
He got beat up a little bit last night, too.
Yes,
Martin,
he did.
during the course of the game.
He had a lot of balls in the dirt, especially when the bullpen came into the ball game later on. But Russell was on his game last night, and sometimes as a catcher you just get into that flow where everything comes to you. You're 2 or 3 pitches ahead. If I throw this, then the next one's going to be that, and then the third pitch will be this.
There's the run on that 2-seam fastball again. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gaviglio.
Tell you what, there's nothing I enjoy more than watching a pitcher pitch. And that's what Gaviglio's doing. There's a great illustration of the 2-seam grip, and watch the movement. Starts off the plate inside. Gardner gives up on it. He knows that moves right over the heart of the plate for strike 3. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Aaron Judge. I think those 2 strikeouts came on 6 pitches, didn't they? I believe so. So he was 2/3 of the way to an immaculate inning. Now he's thrown ball 1 here to Judge, so that's gone. But 3 strikeouts on 9 pitches. You mentioned Max Scherzer. He just did it yesterday, right? For the 2nd time in his career.
He did it last night for sure. He threw 9 strikes and struck out Johnny Field, Kristen Arroyo, and Daniel Robertson of Tampa Bay.
Ground ball to short. Diaz up with it. And on to first in time to get Judge. Well, it was 9 pitches. 2 strikeouts and a ground out for Gaviglio here in the 3rd. Take a look at what Martin endured last night.
Yeah, he's got to deal with Luke throwing that pitch down and away. Then Biagini bounces a couple of pitches in the dirt. Now he's got to scramble to get his body in front of that one. That ball hit the batter, and then Luke misses way outside, and then Mesa comes in and warms up, and Russell says, "What's going on here, fellas? I'm on your side."
And then fires it down to second as if to say, "Come on.
Come on, boys." And that's when you're thinking, I should have been a shortstop.
He's thinking to himself, you know, I was a shortstop. Then they made me go catch.
That's right.
When he was coming up in the Dodgers system.
I tell you what, there are nights when everything you go to block hits you on the inside of your thigh, catches you on your arm, hits you on the wrist, and you go, man, oh man, is this ever going to end?
And there are guys who come up as catchers or get drafted as catchers, but if their bat shows great potential, teams will move them out from behind the plate because that beating you take as a catcher, everybody said, you know, that'll hurt your hitting.
Well, and that's what's so remarkable about the careers that Yadi Molina, Russell Martin, and Brian McCann have put together. They're the leaders in games played among active catchers, and they have had phenomenal careers and offensive numbers to boot.
Liner to right field, but Judge is there, and Martin is retired, one down. Molina especially. Jason Kendall, when he played too, would catch like 140 games a year, but Yadier Molina, Mike Matheny has to arm wrestle him to get out of the lineup.
Yeah, and you're right. And Jason Kendall, he was the guy that used to catch all the time, and he just was back there every single day. Russ Martin did it as well. But those three guys I mentioned among the active catchers have caught more innings, played more games than any catchers in the majors. McCann, Molina, and Russ Martin.
There's Devin Travis, who made a sensational defensive play to end the top of the second. Very quickly out in front, 0-2. Diving stop to his right, backhanded stop on a one-hopper off the bat of Austin Romine, and then flipped to Diaz covering second to force the runner and end the inning.
You know, you're going to get some good defensive plays behind Gray and Gaviglio when they're working as quickly as they are tonight, because the infielders always anticipating the next pitch is going to be hit to me. When they're throwing strikes and they're filling up the strike zone, everything has got a chance to be put into play.
And it's funny, one of the pitchers tonight pitches with great pace, and the other one, this guy, his team has worked with him, go faster, pitch faster. He can, when he gets in a rut with his command, he can really slow down. But no sign of that so far tonight.
Yeah, this is as good a tempo as I've seen from Sonny Gray the last couple of years, because you're right, he's very deliberate. But we have seen it, and nobody did it better. Nobody did it better than Mark Burley. And he would get out there. It was almost like he had an early evening dinner reservation. I got to get out of here.
Well, there was one year, we've talked about this before, I can't remember the year, where the three fastest games in baseball all had the same two starting pitchers. Mark Burley when he was with the White Sox, and Mark Mulder with the A's. The three fastest games the whole year were the same two starting pitchers.
Yeah, and when you really think about it, as a hitter, when you're standing in the box and that pitcher's getting the ball back and he's towing the rubber and he's nodding in agreement with the sign, he's working quickly. That sends a very positive message from the pitcher. Hey, I feel good about what I'm doing now. Marco was working very quickly last night and had a good outing. But boy, you see those pitchers that just kick the dirt, get the rosin bag, take their time, step off the rubber.
3-2 off the end of the bat into shallow left field. And on comes Stanton to make the grab, 2 down.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bottom of the third inning at Rogers Center. No score in this game as the Blue Jays and Yankees wrap up a quick 2-game series, with the Baltimore Orioles on their way in for a 4-game set beginning tomorrow night. Here's the number 9 hitter, the shortstop, Aledmus Diaz, hitting .216. Got 6 home runs on the season. There's a strike over the outside corner, 1-1.
Baltimore has already played today. They won 1-0, beating the Mets in New York. Dylan Bundy with a good outing, and Bundy has had an up and down season for sure. He's 4-7, but today he went 7 innings, no runs on 3 hits, and had 5 strikeouts.
Who gets traded off that team? You got to believe Machado goes. Brad Brock's been closing with the Britain out. Teams would love to have a guy like Brad Brock out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Brad Brock, maybe Darren O'Day. He's supposed to be activated when they come to Toronto here this weekend. Adam Jones, I guess, is a possibility. He's a free agent as well. But Manny Machado, he's the prized possession of that Oriole team right now, and I think he would bring back the biggest trade package.
And a swing and a miss by Diaz. 9 up, 9 down for Sonny Gray. No score at the end of 3.
The Prostate Cancer Foundation, as well as Kelly Craft, the ambassador to Canada from the United States. The Home Run Challenge is an annual event. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, you can learn all about it at homeRunChallenge.org. 100% of the money goes to medical research, and all the home runs hit between June 1st and June 17th by all the teams in Major League Baseball. You can pledge, and it all goes to medical research. And this symbolizes one of the great partnerships between Canada and the United States.
Absolutely. It's just terrific to be here, and one home run at a time, and supporting cancer research. You cannot think of a better collaboration between the two countries.
Indeed, Kelly. Michael, early detection is so important.
Early detection, but we've raised $50 million from home runs, 8 new drugs approved, and if you've been diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer today, you have a 99% probability of living 5 years or longer.
Michael, Kelly, we appreciate the time. Dan, it's amazing. More than 20 years this initiative has been taking place.
It is a great initiative, Arash. Thank you very much. If I may, my dad is a prostate cancer survivor. And so everybody's been touched by cancer, unfortunately, in their family one way or another. What Major League Baseball has done, promoting awareness for breast cancer research and raising money on Mother's Day, and then on Father's Day doing the same for prostate cancer research. It's a tremendous initiative that has raised, as we just heard, tens of millions of dollars.
So many managers have been touched by it, so many people in the front office, and I tell you, it's a great opportunity. Baseball is such a big audience for so many people that they can spread the word very quickly.
No score here, top of the 4th. Not only no score, neither team's got a base hit yet. As Greg Bird leads off the 4th against Sam Gaviglio. Gaviglio's walked 2 and struck out 2 as well. Sonny Gray's perfect, 9 up, 9 down.
You know what I like about this game? Nobody has thrown a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. People are pitching.
There used to be more guys like Gaviglio. I'm going back a ways now, but before the radar gun became all the rage, guys like this would get a longer look, would get more chances. They didn't have to work quite as hard to be seen as Gaviglio's had to work.
No question about it. All they wanted to say, can you get people out? I don't care how hard you throw. How many outs can you give me? And that was the big thing. I mean, when you think back, Glavine and Maddox, those guys were terrific. Randy Jones of the Padres was such a great pitcher, Cy Young Award winner, just sinking the fastball in and out, moving the ball around. There were so many pitchers that didn't have those big arms, and they had long careers because it wasn't 100% effort on every pitch.
Ground ball into the shift to a knee is Travis, and on to first, 1 down.
When you think about Pedro Martinez, I mean, he was an exception, of course, because he threw hard, but he pitched. He threw all the pitches at different speeds, and he loved to pitch. I mean, he was so much more than just a fastball pitcher. He manipulated every ball he threw, and he changed pitches, changed velocity on every pitch he threw.
Here's Giancarlo Stanton, who drew a walk to lead off the second and got as far as third with 2 down, but was stranded there. Diaz, long throw on the money, 2 down.
Now, we told you you're going to get good defense when you have pitchers throwing a lot of strikes, and Diaz had plenty of time. And the arm strength is a real plus for Diaz. Stanton runs well. He gets out of the box, and watch how deep this ball is when Diaz plants his right foot and reaches back for a little extra. A head-high throw across the diamond for Justin Smoke. That's a nice defensive play by the shortstop. Once he gets it, takes an extra step to plant that right foot and get a little extra on the fastball that throws a strike across the diamond.
And that's the 8th ground ball out for Sam Gavilia tonight. 11 outs, Buck, 8 of them on the ground, 2 strikeouts, just 1 fly ball.
Yeah, and that'll keep you in the game longer too, because it'll economize on your pitches.
Gary Sanchez. And it's a ball and a strike.
It's a fun brand of baseball. It's fun to be a pitcher and neutralize the big, powerful bats of guys like Sanchez. It's fun for the catcher to mix pitches up, and you go back and forth, in and out, changing speeds. And it's certainly fun for the infielders. They get to show off their defensive skills.
1-2. Another good slider. CC Sabathia is always enjoying himself. Terrific start last night as he sits alongside tonight's starter. Sonny Gray in that Yankee dugout. Popped up, and this one's going to get back out of play. Got fumbled around a little bit, and somebody had an easy grab after a couple of other people deflected it.
Yeah, that gentleman right there has got a nice souvenir. Bounced around, and when it really stopped rolling, he picked it up.
Slice to right field, and this ball is going to get down for a hit. And it'll skip up and over the fence. There's nothing Curtis Granderson can do about that, and that'll be a double for Sanchez. That's the first hit of the ball game for either side.
And that's his first extra base hit in his last 12 games. His 12th double of the season comes with 2 outs here in the 4th. He has been in a 3 for 36 coming into this game. That's his 4th hit in 38 at bats, and his first extra base hit in those last 12 games.
Not a bad pitch.
Just a good pitch. He just went with it. He's powerful. He's got a lot of power to the opposite field, and he stayed on that pitch and bounces it over the wall.
So a runner at second with 2 down for Didi Gregorius, who grounded out to first in his first at bat against Gavilia. And a high fly ball to left field. Room for Teoscar Hernandez. And just like that, all done in the top of the 4th. Blue Jays coming up in this scoreless game.
Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB At Bat today, and on the app this weekend, you can watch the Subway Series where Yoenis Cespedes may be back for the Mets. He's been out since mid-May with that hip issue.
All right, Arash, thank you. Always a little something extra, certainly in New York when those two teams get together. The tabloids have a field day with that. Mets going in the wrong direction, though. They got off, what was it, 12-2, I think, to start the season.
Yeah.
And they have really slowed down. And they've run into, unfortunately for them, what seems like the inevitable annual rash of injuries that they have.
Lost 5 in a row going into action this afternoon, and that stretched to 6 as Baltimore beat them 1-0 this afternoon.
Top of the order, Curtis Granderson in this scoreless game. Ground ball up the first baseline, stays fair, and met at the bag by Bird, 1 down. The National League East is interesting. I think everyone would concede that Washington is the most talented team. They've been dealing with some injuries as well. They started slowly, but it looks like when it's all said and done, they're going to be there. And right now they're in a virtual tie for first place with the Atlanta Braves. The Braves are really, really interesting team, and they're still in the rebuilding process. Look at all these young players, but in a month or 6 weeks, if they're still in the playoff hunt, does Alex Anthopoulos trade away some of that future to try to make the playoffs this year?
I don't think he trades anybody that's on the big league team. I mean, obviously you're not going to trade Acuna or Albies, any of those guys. Not going to trade Soroka. He's just now off the disabled list, but they've got some more guys coming. This was supposed to be kind of like the Yankees last year. This was supposed to be the year before they were supposed to be good.
Right.
But they got a nice mix in Ciarte and Markakis and Freeman, the veterans, plus the 2 catchers are doing really well.
They're the highest scoring team in the National League.
Yeah. Kurt Suzuki and Tyler Flowers give them a terrific catching tandem to handle that young pitching staff.
And the most underrated superstar in baseball award, if they had one, should be renamed the Freddie Freeman Award. He's a stud.
He's a very good player, isn't he? Year in and year out. And he always seems to deal with an injury. You know, last year, I think Aaron Loop hit him with a pitch and he broke his hand. And he missed significant time. But there he is, 3rd in the National League in hitting, batting .339. And he's always up there in RBIs. He's got 42 RBIs, just 3 behind the leader. He's had 24 multi-hit games. Just a good player.
Swing and a miss, and that's all for Solarte, 2 down. Braves are here in a couple of weeks. A 2-game series, June 19th and 20th. Blue Jays are down in Atlanta for a couple of games in July. Meanwhile, Sonny Gray has set down all 11 batters he has faced as Solarte makes a slow stroll back to the dugout. Gray has struck out 4. Including Teoscar Hernandez back in the first inning, as Hernandez now takes low ball 1. Hernandez said during BP today that home run he hit last night, that moonshot with the 45-degree angle off the bat, he said he thought he hit it far enough. He just wasn't sure if he'd kept it fair, but it seemed like it was up in the air for about an hour before it finally dropped just over the fence.
Yeah, that was the highest launch angle of a home run hit this year. And it was a booming drive to left off CC Sabathia. It is high, and you can see he's concerned more about fair or foul. But it was never an issue, just whether or not it would carry, and it certainly carried even into the second deck, but it was way up there for a long time.
He's got 3 home runs this year against Yankee pitching. Lays off that slider, 2-2. And lays off another breaking ball down and away. Full count now on Hernandez with 2 down and the bases empty. Against a very effective and efficient Sonny Gray so far. Just 41 pitches through 3 2/3. Has not allowed a base runner. If Hernandez gets aboard, Justin Smoke gets a shot. But he won't. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, number 5 for Sonny Gray. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio.
TD, and the first 20,000 fans in the park will receive that Blue Jays Pride hat. It's a Friday night game against the Orioles, 7 o'clock start. BlueJays.com for tickets.
Thank you, Arash. Part of a 4-game series that begins tomorrow night. That Friday matchup. Andrew Kashner on the mound for the Orioles, and Jay Happ will get the start for the Blue Jays. 7 o'clock games tomorrow and Friday, and then a 1 o'clock game Saturday, and again on Sunday. Miguel Andujar, first pitch swinging, ground ball to short. 1 down.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays, only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez with you here at Rogers Center, and there is no score. Sam Gaviglio's given up just 1 hit. He's walked 2, struck out 2 against what statistically has been the best offensive team in baseball this year, the New York Yankees. But on the other side, Sonny Gray's been even better. He's retired all 12 batters he's faced. Austin Romine, the batter. He's got the hardest hit ball of the night. And a great stop by Devin Travis denied Romine a hit and prevented the Yankees from scoring. They had runners at first and third, 2 down when Travis made that play.
Yeah, it was a great play. That ball was headed into center field, and he grounded on 1 hop and then went to second for the force out to end the inning. Boy, I tell you what, look at that pitch cast chart. First pitch down and away, could have been a strike. Second pitch he swings at because it had such late movement. The third pitch right on the bottom of the strike zone. I mean, that's how you pitch. You change location, you change speeds, you create movement, and you've got a hitter basically off balance, reaching and trying to make contact with pitches all over in the strike zone. Also, with a little too much movement of that glove, he tried to bring it back toward home plate, but it was off the plate, the slider. But these are the kinds of games where catchers really get into it, because you ask Gaviglio to deliver, and it's almost every pitch he can make a great pitch with.
And made a good one with that slider, and then made a good defensive play as well. 2 down. I think he's saying to Diaz, should I have let it go?
Yeah, and I think Diaz said, no, you made the right play, because that was going to be a tough play for Diaz. You could see how far he had to come from shortstop. So Gaviglio, he grabs it, takes a couple of extra steps to catch his balance, and then fires and throws in plenty of time. I don't think Diaz makes that play if it gets past the pitcher.
Wasn't hit hard at all. 2 down. Here's another ground ball, but this one's going to find a hole. A base hit into center field for Gleyber Torres.
Torres is a very aggressive hitter. He likes to swing early in the at-bats, and this is a pretty good pitch, but you can see it ran over the plate a little bit too much. Still around knee high. It wasn't that high, but Torres is a very aggressive hitter. He's anxious to hit. So now here's the real test for Gaviglio. Third time through the order. Yankees have seen him now twice, so he's going to have to continue to mix it up.
Brett Gardner has grounded out and struck out. The longest tenured member of the New York Yankees. Brett Gardner is now 34 years of age, and he broke into the big leagues with the Yankees in 2008. And he's been a really good player for a long time for them. Bigger names have come and gone, but he plays left. They put him in center when they need to, like tonight. Steals some bases, has really developed his power in the last 3-4 years.
Remember, he got a nice multi-year contract, upwards of $50 million a couple years ago, and everybody around baseball said, well, why are you signing him? He's just another extra guy, but he's a key part of everything they do. Can play left and can play center. He's your leadoff guy. Steals bases.
And in the clubhouse, they love him. He's the guy in the clubhouse.
He's got the frown on his face all the time, and you get sideways with Brett Gardner, you've got to deal with it. He has worn out the Blue Jays. His 17 career home runs are the most against any ball club for Gardner. So he always likes hitting against them, and he's been a tough out for the Jays over the years. He's a good player. He signed through next season.
Runner at first, 2 down, and a ball and 2 strikes. The count on Gardner. And a weak ground ball up the first baseline, and it's going to be a base hit. I don't know if Gaviglio thought it might roll foul or if smoke was coming, but when Gaviglio hesitated, that was the end of that.
Yeah, the only guy that had any chance of making that play was the pitcher, Gaviglio. I don't know why he would hesitate, but the only thing he could do is break for it. I think you're right. I think he kind of felt Smoke might be able to make the play, but look where Smoke is. He's got no shot at this. And then Gaviglio kind of anticipated maybe Smoke would come and get it and maybe put a tag on Gardner. That's the only thing that he might have been thinking. But you could see it's never going to go foul. So it'll be an infield hit for Brett Gardner.
And now Gaviglio has to face Aaron Judge with 2 men on.
This is a challenge for Gaviglio because you want to pitch Judge up, and that's not in Gaviglio's arsenal.
The 0-1. Bounces away from Martin, and both runners are going to advance on the wild pitch.
A breaking ball from Gaviglio in the dirt, and Russell got a piece of it, but it bounces to his right. Looks like more of a curve ball, and took a big hop off his chest protector. The base runners, Torres from second and Gardner from first, both move up 90 feet.
So 2 in scoring position with 2 down. Second little jam of the night that Gaviglio's been in. Got out of one in the second, trying to do the same here in the 5th. Martin keeps it near him after not coming up with it cleanly. 2 balls and a strike.
And for some reason, I don't know if he took his eye off that ball, but he was surprised by the late movement. He's looking at his glove as if the webbing might have given out on him, but he acts like he didn't see it. You can see just closed his glove too soon, and it went off the end of the glove, never got it in the pocket.
It wasn't a cross up or anything like that.
He was tracking it.
Now behind in the count. The 2-1. And Judge won't chase the breaking ball down and away. 3 balls and a strike.
This is the old argument. What do? Do you pitch to a hitter's weakness or do you stay to your strengths? And Gaviglio has to stay to his strengths. He's got a base open now after the wild pitch. And if Judge really wants to expand, throw that slider again, see if you can get him to chase, and then if you walk him, you got a fresh count with the next guy.
Threw him a fastball, but he just missed in the eyes of Todd Titchener, the home plate umpire, and that's going to load him up.
Yeah, that looked like a borderline strike. Martin kind of anticipated it was going to be called a strike. So he did throw the fastball, but it's called ball 4. That got a lot of the plate. And it certainly wasn't too high. You can see Martin's reaction. Russell held it a long time, and Judge is given the walk.
So bases loaded, 2 down. Torres way down the line at third. And the batter, Greg Bird. High fly ball down the left field line. Will Hernandez have a play? He will not.
Now, he did exactly the right thing. He got to that wall, and then when he got there, the ball was 2 rows deep out of play. But you get a chance to end the inning. You got to get there and give yourself every opportunity to make the catch.
Tell you, there's a little more pressure on Russell Martin too, because look where Solarte, the third baseman, is, and look at how far down the line Torres is able to come. And he on the last pitch, he was about 20-25 feet further down the line than he is right now. Also trying to get in the sight lines of Gaviglio, mess with him a little bit.
Yeah, and it won't take much of a ball in the dirt for him to score. Anything goes 10 feet away from Russell Martin, it's going to be a race to home.
He's way down the line again. A 1-strike count on Bird. Big moment here in the 5th. And a ground ball to first. Comes up nicely for Smoke. And Gaviglio gets out of it. The Yankees leave the bases loaded here in the 5th.
That happens. The last threshold left, sprinting and doing so at long distances. Once that's checked off, he'll be good to go. The question was posed to Donaldson, have these multiple DL stints been particularly difficult? What with being a free agent at the end of the year? Josh's answer, whatever the future holds, I'm not controlling that. I can only control what I do. Now, Donaldson did admit that staying positive has been difficult for himself, and with the losing the team has had, he's heard the negativity from the fan base, and his response to that, we can control on competing, and hopefully that leads to wins. He said, as players, we have to drown out the noise and get professional at what we're doing. Dan.
Thank you, Arash. And again, eligible to come off the DL Friday, and as you said, Donaldson hopeful he can come off the DL Friday in the second game of the 4-game set with the Baltimore Orioles. And one thing that would help the Blue Jays pick up some more wins is having a healthy Josh Donaldson. They missed him.
And they're not going to activate him until he can run.
Right.
I mean, he's got to run the bases. He's got to make turns. He's got to make stops. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not activated on Friday, because he's just now started to sprint. I spoke to him around the cage. He says, yeah, I've run a little bit, but You cannot afford to bring him off the DL when he's not ready to play full speed and have him re-injure it. Then you'd lose him for a month.
Justin Smoke leading off the bottom of the 5th. Quick 0-2 count. Now 1-2. Sonny Gray perfect through 4. 5 strikeouts on the night. It'll be Smoke, Morales, and Pilar. Meanwhile, for those who may not have heard, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. left a game with New Hampshire with an injury today. Apparently slid into second base and then immediately called for the trainer and walked off the field under his own power with an unspecified leg injury. John Schneider, the manager of the AA Fisher Cats, said after the game they don't think it's serious. They wanted to play it safe. As Smoke lines the ball into right center field, and this one is going to get to the fence. The first hit of the night for the Blue Jays is a double for Justin Smoke.
First base runner. And Smoke just his 6th hit against Sonny Gray in 31 at bats, and it's his 14th double of the season. Breaking ball that stays on the outside part of the plate, and Smoke just drives it right back up the middle. He skips it off this artificial surface. It goes all the way to the wall for a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 5th. Well, you got to take advantage of that. You get a leadoff double, you got to score.
And can Morales, at the very least, pull a ground ball to get Smoke to third? And when you're not going great offensively, you got to do the little things just to scratch out a run here and there. No score, bottom 5, leadoff double for Smoke.
Wow. Blue Jays didn't get that call. That ball was off the plate outside, and it's called a strike. And obviously Gray and Romine are trying to keep that ball away from Morales and keep him from pulling it to the right side. They missed that one. They wanted that one inside. It ran up out over the plate. I'm surprised they've thrown him 3 fastballs in this at bat. I think that's the last fastball he's going to see now, because Gray can bounce that curveball. Remember, we talked about Gray having thrown 5 wild pitches this season, but all 5 were while Sanchez was catching. So if he wants to bounce that curveball, he's got ultimate confidence in Romine to be able to block it.
And there it's a slider, but it's a breaking ball, and he bounces it in, and Romine did a nice job blocking it.
That is such a relaxed feeling when you're a pitcher and said, okay, now I got to throw that breaking ball, and now I want to throw a nasty one, and my catcher's going to block it. I mean, you can really snap off a hook and feel very confident Romine's going to catch it for you.
2-2. And a base hit into left field. Smoke up 90 feet, runners on the corners with nobody out.
That's a big hit for Morales after the leadoff double. Pushes Smoke over to third. This pitch is away. It's another breaking ball. It stays up out of the plate with 2 strikes, and Morales hits it through the left side. Nobody at shortstop because of the shift, and Smoke has to hold at third base, hit right to the left fielder.
A great opportunity for the Blue Jays to strike first. No score, bottom 5, but first and third, nobody out for Kevin Pilar, who snapped a long home run drought with his 5th of the season last night. Grounded out his first time tonight. And a ground ball down to third. Smoke is coming home and is out easily. And the fielder's choice will leave runners at first and second with a 1 out.
Well, pretty interesting instincts for a rookie third baseman. That ball was hit right to him, and you know, we first thought maybe should I turn 2 here, but no, they go home as Andujar makes a nice throw to Romine. Smoke slides into the out, but now the Yankees are another ground ball from getting out of this thing as Pilar hit it right to the third baseman. Andujar made a heads-up play.
So now it's Russell Martin lined out to right field back in the third. No runs, 3 hits for the Yankees. No runs, 2 hits for the Blue Jays, both coming this inning. And Martin takes down and away. They play him straight up on the infield, around to the opposite field on the outfield.
In these situations, you look at the defense, and it's slightly opposite in the outfit, as Dan mentioned. But as a hitter, you want to stay away from trying to pull the ball. A double play is much more difficult if you hit it on the right side to involve the first baseman, possibly the second baseman. Boy, Gray has really quickened up his tempo, hasn't he?
And again, he has been urged to do so by the Yankee coaching staff. Two on with the 1 out. And the 2-1. Up and in, ball 3 to Martin.
Gray has used an awful lot of fastballs, and he has used them very effectively. And this is another 2-seam fastball. It just gets away from him. Obviously, you don't want to throw a high 2-seam fastball, and Martin had to bail out.
And ball 4 to load the bases for Devin Travis.
At the Honda Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Nice night, bit of a cool night, but nice nonetheless here in Toronto with the roof open at Rogers Center. No score in the bottom of the 5th. And Sonny Gray's now going to face Devin Travis with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Travis has to make sure he gets a good pitch to hit. You can't get over anxious in this situation and just wail away without having a plan. And again, you see the outfield shifting a little bit more to the right side. But Travis has to make sure he gets a good pitch to hit and don't chase any borderline pitches. The Blue Jays have really scuffled to score runs, so everybody feels like I'm going to get the big hit, but you still have to get a good pitch to hit to put the ball in play.
And Travis has been extraordinarily successful in these situations in his career. 10 for 19 with a couple of grand slams. Morales at third. Pilar at second and Martin at first.
Two borderline pitches, one up and in, one down and away, and Travis now has to battle. Well, you can see Gray is pitching with a lot of confidence. First time we saw him, first 2 times we saw him, he was very tentative, took a lot of time. Not the case tonight.
Coming off a good start his last time out against the Orioles. 0-2. Good take there by Travis. Ball 1. Really, we've got a couple of pitchers who have been executing their pitches here tonight.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. And, you know, everybody says, well, we want to see home runs. I like the fact that you've got 2 pitchers neutralizing a couple of lineups.
One-two, ground ball to second. There's one, and on to first in time. The Yankees turn the double play, and the Blue Jays cannot capitalize on their first opportunity of the night. Sonny Gray's had a good night, got some help from his defense, and it's still scoreless.
programs with Sportsnet Now. Cable subscribers can log in to Sportsnet Now for free. Visit snnow.ca for more details.
We go to the top of the 6th inning at Rogers Center. Yankees and Blue Jays in a scoreless game. Sam Gaviglio's gotten out of a couple of jams to keep it scoreless on that side. The Blue Jays just had their first shot at Sonny Gray. At first and third, nobody out. Had the bases loaded with a 1 out, but couldn't capitalize. So it's still 0-0.
Get a leadoff double and a single, first and third, nobody out, and you expect to score, but Sonny Gray made some good pitches to keep the Blue Jays off the scoreboard.
77 pitches through 5 for Gaviglio. He'll face the middle of the lineup: Stanton, Sanchez, and Gregorius. Probably not where he ideally wanted to locate that breaking ball, but it's a called strike.
First pitch, it's not bad.
Yep.
It's kind of like a get me over slider. And changeup bounced into there.
Russell Martin's like, you don't have to go get that ball. I'm going to throw you. This is the big leagues. We got somebody to go do that for you. But Gaviglio's going over to get it and toss it out of play.
Yeah, Gaviglio's a small town guy from Southern Oregon. He says, you know what, I can handle it.
Yeah. Played at Oregon State, originally a 5th round pick by the St. Louis Cardinals. Interesting with the draft just happening, Gaviglio out of high school was a 40th round pick. I believe it was Kansas City. I think it took him in the 40th round. But he decided to pass that up, go to college, and obviously elevated his stock because he was a 5th round pick out of Oregon State.
He was an All-American in his junior year in 2011 at Oregon State, and they've produced some very good professional players. They had Darwin Barney here for a couple of years, who played at Oregon State. Jacoby Ellsbury, who was on a DL with the Yankees, he was a big star at Oregon State.
Yep. Actually, it was Tampa Bay who originally took Gaviglio in the 40th round. Draft ended today. Rounds 11 through 40 were today. 3-day process. Jammed him. Man, look at the location of that. Nothing that Stanton could do with it.
Yeah, just 86 miles an hour, and that's proof that you don't have to throw 100 to jam a good hitter like Stanton. You just keep changing your location, moving the ball around in the zone, get enough movement on the pitch, and this is a mistake. They wanted it down, and then he finishes them off with that good slider.
And that is the 3rd strikeout of the night for Gaviglio.
Gaviglio's done a nice job of moving the ball around. This super slow mode is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus, the camera reimagined, available now. That's the difference between the first slider of that at bat and the last slider. The first slider was a called strike right down the middle. The wipeout slider was on the plate and then disappeared, and Stanton chased it.
Here's the DH now, Gary Sanchez. He had the first Yankee hit of the night. A double to right off Gaviglio back in the 4th. About the first time really that Gaviglio has paused between pitches tonight. Now he wants to toss the baseball out of play. Man, he's sorting through something right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have a real good feel for that baseball. That's what took him a little bit of a time to decide what to do. Well, he got away with one there. There's that slider you were concerned about that stayed out over the plate, about let her high, and he won't want to do that again.
Yeah, the top half of the strike zone is not a happy place for Sam Gaviglio. His stuff thrives down at the bottom of the zone, on the corners. Not an up in the zone swing and miss guy. And another ball up.
Sometimes when you see back-to-back pitches up in the zone, it suggests maybe Gaviglio's losing his legs a little bit. He's not being able to drive through his delivery, and he's left the slider up, and that time he left the fastball up, and Pete Walker going to get that bullpen going to work.
Velocity's a little down too this inning as well. He's at 86 pitches.
And that's why he's taking more time. Just trying to focus on really executing this next pitch. He's gotten away with 2 pitches. You can see where they are.
In his 3 prior starts with the Blue Jays this year, he has thrown 88, 84, and 83 pitches, going 5 1/3, 6 and 6 innings.
Well, obviously a nothing game. He just wants to make sure that he is set for this next pitch. So we have seen him slow things down dramatically in this inning.
The 2-2, and he got him to chase strikeout number 4.
All right, great job by Gaviglio. And there's a slider grip. You can see it gets on the side, and there's that dot. Hitters see the opposite side of that baseball. It's got that red dot in the middle, and it looks like a fastball, and then breaks down and away. And Sanchez chased a bad pitch.
John Axford now up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Here's Didi Gregorius with 2 down and the bases empty.
Another pitch that suggests to me he's getting near the end of the night. That ball got away from him. We haven't seen that before this inning. And again, he's taking more time on the mound. And he understands where he's at. And so does Gibbons and Walker. That's a good pitch.
Martin appeals, and yes, it is a swing, says Bill Miller down at third. Little inside. So you look at the scorecard. Struck out Stanton, struck out Sanchez. Nothing to worry about, but the bullpen is up. John Gibbons, Pete Walker have seen the signs. Ball's up a little bit here. He's over 90 pitches right now. But if they could just get him through the 6th, he'd get a big handshake and a pat on the back when he got back to the dugout. Now it's Didi out of the box. Gaviglio waiting for him. Missed away.
Again, that arm's just dragging a bit. Earlier in the ball game, that ball would be down on the outside corner with diving motion away from Gregorius. Now it's flat and just running up, really without much effect.
3-1 driven to right field. Granderson makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 go the Yankees. Gaviglio 6 great innings tonight. Presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. And it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. 6 shutout innings for Sam Gaviglio against the Yankees tonight. But the Blue Jays haven't been able to score against Sonny Gray. And Gaviglio still in the dugout, and apparently Buck did not get handshakes at the end of the top of the 6th.
Yeah, you know, the Blue Jays bullpen hasn't really been that effective of late. So Gaviglio, he checked in on him when he got back to the dugout, but he's still in the ball game as far as we know. The bullpen is quiet down in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Aledmus Diaz leading off the 6th, struck out his first time up against Sonny Gray. Pretty good slider. 2 pretty good sliders we've seen from the 2 pitchers tonight.
Yeah, and again, you have to emphasize how well they have kept the ball out of the middle. Neither one of them will really line up the radar gun. We've seen Gray up to 95 tonight. Gaviglio, he'll throw 89, 91 maybe.
Jam shot over the mound. Here comes Gregorius, and he'll make the play, 1 down.
Diaz really gets jammed on his inside pitch. You can see it just rolls over the mound, and Gregorius near the bag at second. Fires quickly to retire the first batter.
So now Gray begins his 3rd trip through the order with leadoff man Curtis Granderson, who's grounded out in both at bats tonight. Still throwing hard. 95. That's about the hardest pitch he's thrown tonight.
Yeah, and he's still got that good velocity. We saw that early in the ball game up to 95.
Up and away, 2-1.
Yeah, this time of a ball game, you always think, okay, where can this guy really hurt me? Inner part of the plate. Granderson's not going to hit too many opposite field home runs, so they're staying away from him. You pitch to the scoreboard more often than not. I don't care where you are. Larry Rothschild, a great pitching coach, and Aaron Boone in his first year as the manager. They both understand late in the ball game, don't pitch to the power. Staying up and away.
And Granderson will take a 1-out walk.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Crowd of almost 28,000 here at Rogers Center tonight, and they are seeing a pitcher's duel, a scoreless game in the bottom of the 6th. Granderson's at first with 1 out. And the batter is Yangervis Solarte, who has flied out and struck out. Got a pitch to hit, fouled it off, 0-1.
If you're thinking about the possibility of a stolen base here, Granderson has just 1 steal. He's been caught twice. But Sonny Gray hasn't had a stolen base against him all season. There's only been 1 attempt. He's very quick to the plate. He's very athletic to first. So that's probably not in the Blue Jays playbook right now.
Shift on for the Yankees. 3 on the right side. A 1-strike count on Solarte, and a throw to first will drive Granderson back. Yankees not wanting to completely forget about Granderson over there. One and one. The Yankees won last night without having to use Dellin Betances and Aroldis Chapman, so they are both extremely rested and able to contribute tonight. And Aaron Boone, like his predecessor Joe Girardi, he'll take his chances in a game in a battle of the bullpens with the bullpen the Yankees have had the last few years. Ground ball to the right side. Torres to second for one, and then back to first. Double play. 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. We are through 6, no score. And Sam Gaviglio looks like he's coming back out. Sam Gaviglio's back on the mound for the 7th after the Blue Jays had the bullpen up in the 6th inning. He's at 93 pitches. Got some balls up, but 1-2-3 in the 6th inning with a couple of strikeouts. So everything looks great on the line score. He's only given up 3 hits. This is the first time he'll pitch into the 7th as a Blue Jay. This is the most pitches he's thrown in a game as a Blue Jay. And he faces the bottom third of the order. Beginning with the guy who really hurt the Jays last night, Miguel Andujar, the rookie third baseman who hit his first career grand slam last night. Now, Buck, this is interesting. Not so much that the bullpen's up. Tim Mesa's up from the left side. Ryan Tepera is up in the 7th inning right now, and he's been the closest thing the Blue Jays have had to a closer recently.
Yeah, and I think it reflects the struggles that the bullpen has had of late. Over their last 7 games, the bullpen has pitched to a .693 earned run average, and they've given up runs in all 7 games. So I think that's why they're pushing Gaviglio a little bit harder here tonight. Broken bat.
Ground ball down to third. Solarte, 1 down.
The Blue Jays bullpen in those last 7 games, 24 2/3 innings, they've given up 27 hits and 19 runs. So I think Pete Walker says, you know what, Gaviglio's shutting them out. Let's go with him as long as we can.
But are you surprised Tepera's up in the 7th?
No, because I don't think that there's anybody that they say, okay, he's our closer, he's our 8th inning guy. They're going with a hot hand right now, and Tepera seems the most consistent of all of them. I think it's a situation where they want to win this game, man. Gaviglio gives them a best effort here to start the 7th, and Tepera might be the next man out. And you know that's what they're having this conversation about.
You know, when you've got a lockdown bullpen, you can just roll them out there in their roles and you get the outs. When you've had the inconsistency the Blue Jays have had, the moves can blow up on you sometimes, even if statistically or analytically it's the sound move. And the Blue Jays bullpen was so good for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, but it's been a struggle lately.
Since Roberto Osuna has been placed on the restricted list, the Blue Jays bullpen is 7-18. Blue Jays team is 7-18. They've lost 18 of the last 25 games since they lost Roberto Osuna. Two-one,
popped up. Devin Travis behind the bag, 2 down. Well, however this ends, Sam Gaviglio has had an extraordinary night against the best offensive team in baseball.
He sure has, and it's his first start against the Yankees, and it's just his second start against the AL East this season. He started against Boston his last time out.
Just over 100 pitches. Gleyber Torres is the batter, and a breaking ball in for a strike.
Blue Jays starters have completed 7 or more innings just 8 times this season. Gaviglio is trying to do it tonight. But you know, another reason why I discount the pitch count, and he got a little bit tired last inning, you could see that. But he's not a max effort guy. It doesn't take everything in his body to throw the pitch. He's pitching, using his legs, using his delivery.
Fly ball to left field. Hernandez there. 7 shutout innings for Sam Gaviglio tonight against the Yankees. Anybody.
Since he was called up last September, Teoscar leads the Blue Jays in home runs. He's got 2 more than Josh Donaldson. Solarte, Smoke, and Pilar, they're all following up Teoscar, and in a home run last night, the first run of the ball game, but it was not enough as the Yankees won that one. He has had 2 home runs against Sonny Gray. His first home run this season was against Sonny Gray back on the 20th of April. He also had a home run against him last year in New York, no, excuse me, in Toronto on the 23rd of September. So he's taken Gray deep twice.
Couple of strikeouts against him tonight. 2 of the 5 that Gray has. After Hernandez, Justin Smoke, and Kendrys Morales. Meanwhile, after Gaviglio got out of the 7th, the Mesa sat down, but Tepera's still up and he's thrown. So it looks like that's all for Tepera, over 100, or for Gaviglio rather, over 100 pitches, and it looks like Ryan Tepera will work the top of the 8th. Swing and a miss, and Gray gets Hernandez again.
Three times tonight, Sonny Gray has struck out Hernandez. Got him on a slider, got him on a curveball, now gets him on a fastball. So he's thrown everything to Hernandez and has struck him out 3 times.
Now Justin Smoke. A strikeout and a double. The double was the first hit of the night for the Blue Jays, one of only 2 that they have. The Yankees only have 3. Smoke got as far as third, but then was tagged out trying to come home on a ground ball to third as Andujar came home instead of going around the horn for a double play. Blue Jays wound up missing out on a big opportunity in the bottom of the 5th.
Again, Gray pitching away from Smoke's power, keeping the ball away, and Justin has to show discipline and realize he's not going to get anything on the inner half, something that he can pull. He's got power to the opposite field. And curveball right on the outside corner. Again, everything is right on the outside or off the plate away.
Trying to come in here.
I've been very impressed with the tempo that Gray has utilized tonight. Very quick. Speed Walker has to be thrilled with the effort he got from his starter tonight, Sam Gaviglio. Now Gaviglio needs a run.
Again, the 2-2. And Smoke just did get to that 96-mile-an-hour fastball to send it foul. Oh, Smoke did not like that one at all, and you can understand why.
Now he had a good idea, everything he saw in that at bat, and that wasn't a good pitch. Didn't look like a good pitch for sure. That ball is down and off the plate inside. Hard to believe this is called strike 3. From overhead, it looked like it caught more of the plate, but it's down. I mean, it's right around his shin guard.
Number 7 for Gray. And now ball 1 to Kendrys Morales. Gray very efficient with his pitches tonight, as you can see, at 86 through 6 2/3. Bullpen is quiet. Morales with a base hit to left field his last time up.
Well, they've thrown him more fastballs than we have seen teams use against Morales. The base hit he got to left field was a mistake fastball. It was out over the plate with 2 strikes. But we have not seen teams use this many fastballs against Kendrys.
Driven to right field. Judge back. He's got it. Nice running catch by Aaron Judge. And Sonny Gray keeps rolling along. 7 shutout innings for him. And no score here at Rogers Center. Going to the 8th, Ryan Tepera is on his way in. 7 scoreless innings against the Yankees.
Yeah, he was great. Pitched out of a couple of tough jams, stranded the bases loaded in the 5th. He was able to mix his pitches very effectively. First time facing the New York Yankees, he held them at bay, allowing just 3 hits and no runs. So now it's over to Ryan Tepera. His 29th appearance came on Sunday against the Tigers. He worked an inning and 2/3 against Detroit through 20 pitches. So he is on here in this scoreless game to work the top of the 8th.
And top of the order for the Yankees, Gardner, Judge, Bird. And a fastball in for a strike. So much different kind of pitcher, of course, now that the Yankees are facing at Tepera than they did in Gaviglio. Gardner, a ground out, a strikeout, and an infield hit. Tepera with a couple of days off since he last worked in Detroit. 20 pitches then, a couple of days off before that, so he should have a lot in the tank tonight. Got a lot in the tank, but he's not locating it yet.
Well, this guy got to keep off base. Scoreless game late in the ball game. He could steal a base. Had an infield hit his last time up. He was one of the 3 base runners stranded back in the 5th.
The 2-1. Great movement there, 2-2.
Good cutter. Started on the inside corner of the plate and broke down and in, and he got Gardner to chase it.
Now the 2-2. Strike 3 called.
It's time to fire up your senses. Your best experience begins with Broil King, available at your local home hardware. Here's how.
Eighth inning in a scoreless game here at Rogers Center, and now Aaron Judge steps in against Ryan Tepera. And man, considering Judge has not been in the big leagues that long, he and Tepera have seen a lot of one another. Judge is 3 for 10 with a homer and 6 strikeouts against Tepera.
Well, Tepera should match up well against him because of his velocity. Martin setting up on the inside, but he missed 97, but really had no effect. Ryan can throw the fastball in. He can elevate the fastball, and then he can set up that hard cutter away.
Ground ball to short. Diaz up with it. 2 down.
Judge has grounded out 3 times and walked tonight, and that's what you want to do to face a big power hitter like Aaron Judge. Keep him on the ground, and they've done that very well tonight.
So far so good for Tepera. He's gotten a couple of outs, and now after getting Judge, it'll be the first baseman Greg Bird coming up for the Yankees, and the Blue Jays put the shift on. That ball just disappears on him.
Yeah, and there's the shift with Diaz at second base, Travis out in right field. It's the first at bat that Bird has had against Tepera. Not a real good cutter. Both those pitches off the plate, but they started on the plate and got Bird to swing at.
Too close to lay off, but by the time they get to you, too far inside to do anything with them. You stay right in there?
I would go away with a fastball.
To center field, playable for Pilar. And Tepera gets the Yankees in order. To the bottom of the 8th in a scoreless game. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Well, as good as Sam Gaviglio was for the Blue Jays tonight is as good as Sonny Gray has been for the Yankees. Maybe even a little bit better. Just 2 hits, 2 walks. Very efficient with his pitches, and he will work into the bottom of the 8th in a scoreless game. Facing Kevin Pilar.
Sonny Gray has pitched 7 or more innings 4 times since coming to the Yankees. He made his first start for New York last August 3rd. He's pitched 8 innings twice, once in a losing effort.
Kevin Pillar's 0 for 2 tonight. He'll be followed by Russell Martin and then Devin Travis. And it's in the air to shallow center field. Brett Gardner's there. And that's the first out. Really, the Blue Jays' only threat tonight was back in the 5th inning. First and third, nobody out, bases loaded, 1 out. Other than the 5th inning, they've only had 1 base runner tonight. That was on a walk in the 6th. And Curtis Granderson was promptly erased on a double play ball hit by Yangervis Solarte.
Yeah, they had a golden opportunity after the smoke double and the single by Morales. First and third, nobody out, and they just couldn't get it done.
Martin's lined out and walked and takes a curveball a little bit inside for ball 1. All is quiet in the Blue Jay bullpen. It'll be Tepera again in the 9th. As that fastball runs up and in on Russell, ball 2.
Look where Giancarlo Stanton is in left field. I mean, he is really giving Russell the entire left field line. If Russell can get anything to the pull side of the diamond, he can run for days. He's not got anything to swing at yet.
You give him the green light here?
Yeah. Scoreless game, veteran hitter. Russell just has to make sure he doesn't swing too hard.
Takes a strike, 3-1.
Yeah, that's not the one you want to swing at, 3-0.
This one will be back out of play, and it's a full count now on Martin.
Romine never saw where that ball was. He came over in the direction where it was headed and then threw his hands up in the air. You can see he just told the umpire, I never saw it. So he comes back. He knows it's in this direction. Then he looks up and says, I don't see it. He's happy it's over the screen into the seats.
So Gray battling back from 3-0 to a full count. Strike 3 called at the top end of the zone, 2 down.
Sonny Gray with that strikeout has matched his season high. He has struck out 8. He struck out 8 against the Blue Jays in his first start of the season. He gets smoke on that swing back fastball. And Diaz swings and misses at a cutter. There's a high fastball that Solarte chased, and that was a ball down and away, but the call went in Gray's favor.
So now with 2 down and the bases empty, it's up to Devin Travis, who's flied out and then grounded into a double play to end the 5th inning. That's when the Blue Jays had the bases loaded with 1 out. Jays have hit into 2 double plays tonight. Broken about 1 hopper to first, righted Bird, and they go in order again. We're through 8, and there is still no score.
Starts both of those days. Pre-game outside, gates 5 and 10 for inflatables, activities, and a lot of fun. And after the game, as always, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. BlueJays.com for tickets.
Wake up, my friend. Got a nail biter going on here.
Come on, buddy. It's a great game.
And it's early. It's barely 9 o'clock. No score. 9th inning. 2nd inning of work for Ryan Tepera. The batter's Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton tonight has walked, grounded out, and struck out. 3 hits for the Yankees, 2 for the Blue Jays. The Yankees have left 6. The Blue Jays have left 2. There's a strike.
Tepera's got a good fastball, and we've seen an excellent cutter so far from Ryan.
Little up and in, 2 balls and a strike. After Stanton, it's Sanchez and Gregorius, middle of the Yankee lineup. Chop back to the mound. Easy play for Tepera, 1 down.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Gary Sanchez will be the batter. Well, you don't see many games like this in this day and age. A 0-0 game into the 9th inning, especially when one of the teams is the best offensive team in baseball, and the Yankees have been this year. Shift on for the Blue Jays. 3 on the left side of the infield for Sanchez. And a high strike.
There has been an inordinate number of 1-0 games. Last night, the Angels won 1-0 against Kansas City. This afternoon, Baltimore beat the Mets 1-0. In this age of the home run, we generally don't see too many 1-0 games, but we got a terrific match here tonight. 0-0 in the 9th.
Sam Gaviglio went 7 for the Jays. Sonny Gray has gone 8 for the Yankees. Popped up and back out of play. Baltimore's here for a 4-game series beginning tomorrow night. Before the Blue Jays hit the road, head down to St. Petersburg to take on Tampa Bay.
The Orioles are already here.
Yep.
Gary Thorne's already having a nice meal here in Toronto.
You've been texted, have you?
Yes, I have.
0-2. And Sanchez wouldn't elevate. One ball, 2 strikes on the Yankee DH tonight. And the pitch way outside. Chad Green up in the Yankee bullpen.
Mike Harkey, the bullpen coach, is explaining to Green the next couple of guys, and there's Aroldis Chapman in the background limbering up. He, of course, is the great closer of the Yankees. He was happy he got that one back. He wants to make a better pitch with that pitch. If he throws that one down around the knees and breaking away, he'll strike out Sanchez. But he got away with one right there.
So it remains 2 balls, 2 strikes on Sanchez with 1 down and nobody on for the Yankees here in the top of the 9th. Coming in. And actually could have been a strike, but because Martin had set up inside and had to reach to his right, pitch didn't look as good as it could have.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the case, but it often is that with the umpires moving and going with the catcher, they have a tendency to take the strike zone with them. But that ball was over the plate. You move inside as a catcher, and the umpire anticipates it's going to be a pitch to the inside, and they get surprised when they miss.
Sanchez asked for time. Didi Gregorius on deck. Popped him up, foul territory, but there's room for smoke. And Sanchez is retired, 2 down.
Tepera shook to get that fastball inside. Looked like Russell wanted to throw a slider. Then he offered fastball away, and Tepera said, no, I want a fastball in. He got it in, and he got the pop-up off the bat of Sanchez.
So Tepera's come on here and set down all 5 batters he's faced. Can he complete his 2nd inning of work by getting Gregorius? 0 for 3 on the night. Hit the ball hard his last time up to pretty deep right field.
Gregorius is 0 for 8 against Tepera. To me, that suggests that fastball inside and cutter inside have really been a problem for the Yankee shortstop.
sharply hit and into right center field for a base hit. Villar over to cut it off and hold Gregorius to a single.
Russell Martin kind of swiped at the dirt, maybe to make Gregorius think they were coming inside. And then they set up outside, and the ball is actually over the inner half of the plate, and Gregorius singles up the middle. You got to keep your eye on Gregorius too. He's sneaky quick in these situations. He's had 8 stolen bases
in 10 attempts on the year. No score, 9th inning. Miguel Andujar. And a grounder foul, third base side, as Tepera and Andujar get their first look at one another, and Tyler Clippard starts to throw in the bullpen.
Andujar has never seen a first pitch he doesn't like. He is up there hacking.
Yep. And the Yankees like him enough to not really mess with him all that much.
You got to make sure you get him to chase here.
Fastball up, and he swings through it. 0-2.
Yeah, he's thinking about doing something dramatic like he did last night, and you've got to take advantage of that. You're at a point now where you don't have to throw him another strike. He'll get himself out.
Slider away.
Yeah. Slider away, fastball away. Yeah, that's a good move there by Tepera. You got a hitter in the hole. 0-2 with 2 outs, and Gregorius trying to get a big lead, see if he can get a jump.
The 0-2. Down and away, smothered by Martin. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Reggie Willis, the first base coach, helping out Didi with the timing. Might give him a suggestion. Hey, get a big lead, see if you can draw a throw. See what kind of move he's got once again. They drew the throw.
So Tepera will exhale and reset. Get back on the rubber. Splitting his attention between Gregorius, the base runner, and Andujar, the batter. The set. Runner goes. 1-2 is high. Throw down. Got him! Travis coming around to the front of the runner, but he got the tag down before Gregorius got to second.
Boy, Travis put down 2 great tags last night, and he does it again. Watch Travis get in front of the base. The ball tails on Martin, but Devin is there to swipe Gregorius before he could get to second base. Another great tag by Travis, and he's out by a foot. Well, you wonder how you ever drive a game in a scoreless game. We're going to go back to the 5th inning when Justin Smoke let things off with a double all the way to the wall in center. And then the second and only other hit Sonny Gray allowed is a single by Morales right behind Smoke. So it's 1st and 3rd. Nobody out in a scoreless game in the 5th. And the Blue Jays would go on to strand a pair of base runners as Devin Travis hit into a double play to end that threat. The only threat the Blue Jays have had tonight.
So it's the bottom of the 9th in a scoreless game. And Aledmys Diaz sends the first pitch to right field, but caught by Aaron Judge as Chad Green enters the game and gets an out on 1 pitch.
Chad Green is a very good reliever for the Yankees. His 24th appearance. He's a multi-inning guy. He can go a couple of innings for you. He's 3-0 on the season. 218 opponents batting average. Look at the strikeouts per 9 innings, up over 11.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Doesn't walk himself into trouble.
Top of the order, Curtis Granderson 0 for 2 with a walk. Perfectly located fastball at 97. It's 0-1. Oh, 2.
97. That's the kind of arm you want coming out of your bullpen. You don't want a lot of contact. You're looking for strikeouts, especially in a scoreless game late.
Granderson choking up and taking high. And he goes around, says the third base ump Bill Miller. 2 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central, here are Ken and Ivanka. Been wondering a little bit about that myself. Big decision for the Raptors coming up. Yangervis Solarte trying to end the game with a 1 swing.
Looking fastball, got a fastball just a little bit late on it. Had a home run cut, trying to end it with 1 swing of the bat.
Oh, and 2. Another big swing.
Solarte had a home run on Saturday in Detroit against Matt Boyd.
Now to play left side. Green's not messing around so far with Solarte. 3 fastballs.
No, and he's got that fastball to come right at you.
And another fastball fouled off. That one was 98.
You know, you talk about the draft, and Chad Green was originally drafted by the Blue Jays in the 37th round in 2010. But he went to the University of Louisville, and the Tigers took him in 2013.
At some point, Green's going to decide to throw him a breaking ball. He's thrown him 5 fastballs so far, 2 swings and misses, 3 foul balls. But Solarte knows he's got to have that bat sped up against the fastball. Let's see if Green stays with number 1 or changes his mind. Fastball just low. That one was 99, Buck.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to lay off of. But he's not wavering. He's staying with that heater.
And a ball popped up down the third base line, and Duhar coming over to make the catch. And Solarte's retired, and the Blue Jays go in order, and that means we are headed to extra innings in a scoreless game. Well, there's a whole lot of zeros on the line score tonight. No scores. We go to the 10th inning here at Rogers Center. And after a great 7 innings from Sam Gaviglio and then 2 shutout innings from Ryan Tepera, John Gibbons calls on Tyler Clippard here in the 10th.
For Clippard, it'll be his 31st appearance of the season. He, like Tepera, last worked on Sunday. In an 8-4 win against the Tigers in Detroit, pitched an inning, gave up 1 hit, nothing more, had a couple of strikeouts. So he's on to start the top of the 10th inning against his former team, the New York Yankees.
Bottom third of the lineup for the Yankees, beginning with Andujar, 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. And Andujar with his 7th home run of the season last night. It was the grand slam of Seung-Hwan Oh that gave the Yankees a 4-1 lead on their way to a 7-2 win. Change up, driven high and deep, left center field, off the wall, and into second base with a booming double is Andujar.
That ball hit on the wall in left field, and Clippard gives up a leadoff double. The Yankees get their leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 10th for Andujar. That's his 21st double of the season. Right about midway up the fence in left field. Didn't really get good extension on it and just kind of muscled it off the wall in left. So now the Yankees, with Romine at the plate, have a chance to move him up with a bunt.
Does not square, and he takes ball 1.
Yankees have only had 5 sacrifice bunts this season. Romine doesn't have a sacrifice. And he's been a good clutch hitter for New York. They're not going to let him swing away.
Takes a changeup, didn't like the call. Called a strike, and it's 1-1. All kinds of things going on right now. Both bullpens are busy, and to no one's surprise, Aroldis Chapman is now throwing for the Yankees. Chased a fastball, 1-2.
Clippard does a pretty good job of using that fastball. Everybody knows he's got a great changeup. He'll throw a split finger pitch, and then every once in a while he'll surprisingly hit her with that fastball up and away.
Try to at least advance the runner. Clippard out in front of ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and another high fastball for out number 1.
That's good use of that fastball. He threw 2 fastballs, and one just high, and then the second one a bit higher. 4-seam spin upstairs, and Romine, he trying to hit the ball on the right side, but swings and misses.
Left-hander Tim Mesa, right-hander John Axford up in the pen.
Be careful on the first pitch. Torres is always aggressive on the first pitch.
Change up, a swing and a fly ball right at Pilar. He'll make the catch for the second out. Back to second goes Andujar.
Good job by Clippard and Martin.
And Gibby's already out of the dugout with the left hand hitting Brett Gardner coming up. As you can see, he wants the lefty. He's going to put Tim Mesa in a big spot. Aaron Loup pitched last night at a rough night through 18 pitches, and Gibby's going to call on Mesa here in a scoreless game in extra innings.
I like it. Find out what you got. Bring a young kid up from Buffalo. Clippard gets a couple of guys after issuing the leadoff double, and Tim Mesa in to face Brett Gardner in this scoreless game.
extra innings. And Brett Gardner coming up, a guy that Mazur retired on a ground out last night.
Got a nice defensive play by the third baseman, Solarte, but he retired all 3 men he faced, including Gardner. He was the second out of that inning. But he's got a tough situation, but this is what he's here for. Get these left-handed hitters out. His 9th appearance of the season. He's been back and forth a few times to AAA Buffalo. Fastball slider. That's what Gardner's going to see from Tim Mazur.
In a very small sample size, Mazur this year has actually done a lot better against righties than he has against lefties. Righties are just 3 for 18 against him. Lefties are 7 for 14. But as you said, Buck, the main job of the left-handed reliever these days, just coming to get lefties out.
They're so hard to find because left-handed hitters have become very good out over the plate, and if you're going to be effective like Mazur, you've got to command the fastball down and away and the slider down and away.
The 0-1 to left field and caught by Teoscar Hernandez. And the leadoff double by Andujar does not cost the Blue Jays. With the Baltimore Orioles, and you can see it on Sportsnet 1, beginning with the Blue Jays Central, coming your way at 6:30 Eastern. Blue Jays trying to get there on a winning note. Nobody's been able to score in this game. It's the bottom of the 10th, still no score, and Teoscar Hernandez leads it off against Chad Green.
Green has not been a mystery. He's throwing you that fastball. Just got to get it ready and let it loose.
Three strikeouts tonight for Hernandez. He'll be followed by Smoke and Morales. Out of play 0-2. Sonny Gray went 8 innings, gave up just 2 hits tonight. Green got the Blue Jays in order in the 9th, now facing Hernandez here to start the bottom of the 10th. I think Teoscar probably pretty much knows by now when a righty gets him to 2 strikes, the slider's coming down and away. They're trying to get him to chase.
Yeah, he's just got to make sure that it's got plenty of the plate before he offers at it. It's a hard thing to do.
Fastball fouled back. And another one fouled back out of play.
Romine, after calling for that fastball, signaled Green, throw it upstairs, and he got Teoscar to go after that high pitch.
One, two again. Did he go? He did not, says Alan Porter down at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh.
Yeah, Muzier's got a break there.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
Fouled it back again. That's one of those two with the visitors on the first base side of the field and Teoscar being a right-handed batter. They all had a good look at that one. That could not have been a popular call in the Yankee dugout. Another 2-2, and this time he got him. 1 down.
4th time Hernandez has struck out tonight. That was a very good slider. Romine really accentuated the target down and away. He really presents that very definitive target down and away, and it's a good pitch from Green. His 2nd strikeout since coming into the game.
Justin Smoke is the batter. He is 0 for 7 in his career against Green with 4 strikeouts. 1 for 3 tonight. Fastball high in the air down the left field line. Stanton over near the stands makes the catch just in fair territory, and that's a big 2nd out as Smoke is retired.
Going to be interesting to see how Green attacks Morales. They've thrown him a lot of fastballs tonight, and he's a very good fastball hitter. He's 1 for 3 at a single to the opposite field, but they have pitched him differently than most of the clubs we have seen go after Morales by throwing him a lot of fastballs.
Fastball outside, ball 1. Five up, 5 down for Green so far tonight. And a high fly ball to left field, but room for Stanton. And we're going to the 11th. Still no score in this game. Aaron Judge will lead it off for the Yankees. Coming off a couple of great outings in Detroit, and he will face Aaron Judge to lead off the top of the 11th. And in Judge's time in the big leagues, Buck, nobody has hit more home runs against the Blue Jays, and it ain't even close.
Yeah, 12 home runs that Judge has hit going back to last year, and then Wellington Castillo now of the White Sox has 7. J.D. Martinez hit his 6th. The last time the Blue Jays were in Fenway, and finally Ramirez, he still hasn't found a job, but there are Judge fans here at Rogers Center tonight, and a lot of Yankee fans. They are in the house.
Judge is 0 for 3 with a walk. This is going to be power against power right here, Axford and Judge. Down low, ball 1. 2 appearances in Detroit. Axford went 3 hitless innings, didn't walk a batter, but he struck out 4. Talked about a couple of mechanical things he was working on that he thinks he got sorted out, and with the power of his arm, if he can harness the mechanics, throw strikes, he can be very effective.
A little cutter off the plate outside. Axford has actually had 3 real good outings. His last 3 have been very good. Over the span of 4 innings, he's allowed just 1 hit.
5th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays. The 2-0. Little inside for ball 3. Gaviglio went 7 innings on 3 hits. Ryan Tepera a couple of innings. Tyler Clippard gave up 1 hit in 2/3 of an inning, and then Tim Meza with a big out to get Brett Gardner. 3-0 green light sent down the right field line, but slicing foul.
Yeah, you always give him the green light in a scoreless game. He's got a chance to win a game with 1 swing of the bat. He just showed you how many home runs he's hit against the Blue Jays.
About as big a player as there has ever been. Position players there has ever been. 6'7", 280. At the knees, 3-2. After Judge, it'll be Bird and then Stanton. And he got it.
What a job by Axford after falling behind 3-0. He strikes out Judge with a good cutter right at the bottom of the strike zone. And Judge just couldn't pull the trigger. First time he has struck out tonight, but you look at where all these pitches are in this at bat. 1, 2, 3-0. They fouled off the 4th pitch and then takes strike 3. Good cutter from Axford.
Now Greg Bird, who's 0 for 4. And a strike. 97 with some movement away from the left-hand hitting Bird. Even with Axford's velocity, the Blue Jays have the shift on. 3 on the right side. Solarte alone on the left side. Out of play, 0-2.
Boy, he's got a much better cutter tonight than we have seen in his last 3 outings. There's the shift. Travis, not quite as deep as you might expect, but Bird runs a little bit better, even though he's coming off that ankle surgery. So he doesn't want to get too deep.
Smoke about 3 feet from the foul line. The 0-2. And a slow breaking ball, just foul up the first baseline. Meanwhile, in the Yankee pen, it's Dellin Betances. So Aaron Boone not wanting to bring Chapman in until there's a possible save situation. You see this a lot on the road, extra inning games. 0-2 again. All is quiet in the Blue Jays pen. 5 hits for the Yankees, just 2 for the Blue Jays. No score in the 11th. In the air to left field. Hernandez racing over to the foul line. Made the catch. A sliding grab in foul territory for out number 2.
For me, Hernandez looks very comfortable in left field, and this is a tough play. The ball is slicing away from Teoscar as he goes into foul territory, slides and make a very good catch. Well, anytime you got a power hitter at the plate and you can retire him on a foul pop-up, you got to appreciate that effort by Hernandez.
2 down for Giancarlo Stanton. And a big swing and a foul back. It's 0-1. Stanton tonight's 0 for 3 with a walk.
Look at that movement. Yeah. 98 with wicked movement. Russell just trying to flag it down, went off his glove back to the backstop. Watch the movement. This starts out on the corner and breaks all the way down and in, almost in the dirt behind Stanton.
1-1. Breaking ball in, ball 2. And Axford talking to himself a little bit as he makes his way back up on the mound.
Yeah, I would throw that again because it's fresh in John's mind what happened in that last breaking ball. He can make the adjustment on this pitch right here.
Goes with a fastball, 2-2.
And a good one.
It's a lot of arm for a 35-year-old who looked like he might be done after last year. The pitch towards the end of last season. Non-roster invitee by the Blue Jays heading into spring training. 2-2. We checked it, full count.
Takes a strong man to check your swing like that. I mean, he was committed to the swing and then decided he was going to check.
Full count on Stanton. Here it comes. Been some fun matchups in this game, haven't there?
It's one of the best matchups in all of sports. A one-on-one matchup between a power pitcher and a power hitter. And there's another one looming on deck. Gary Sanchez, the DH.
Again, a 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Smoke coming over. Can't make the grab. Off the top of the short padded wall, bounced back behind him. Smoke just couldn't get over there in time.
It wasn't quite high enough to give him enough time to get over there. He reaches for it and it's beyond his reach, right off the top of that short fence.
So Stanton still up there and still dangerous. Axford's gotten Judge. He got Bird with help from Hernandez. Now another 3-2 to Stanton. Inside for ball 4. So a base runner for the Yankees, and that'll bring up Gary Sanchez. 1 for 4 with a double tonight. Sanchez is 1 for 5 in his career against Axford. The one's a double. High fly ball down the left field line. Hernandez over again. Won't have a play on this one. .20 pitches now thrown by Axford here in the top of the 11th. Stanton a short lead at first, being held on by Smoke. 0-1. It gets through Martin. And up to second on the play goes Stanton.
Yeah, that was a cutter, and I don't know if it was in the dirt. It might have just gone off Russell's glove, but it was a cutter. And Russell went to backhand it. Watch some movement on this pitch. Yeah, it skipped in the dirt. It'll probably be a wild pitch, but he just couldn't connect with it. And it goes back to the backstop.
And it is scored a wild pitch. Potentially a big play. Obviously, a base hit now could score Stanton. 1-1 on Sanchez.
Boy, that's a tough pitch to get a bat on that 98-mile-an-hour sinking fastball inside. We haven't seen many of those curveballs from Axford, and last night, you remember, Estrada struck out Sanchez on a curveball, and Axford's got a much better curveball. See if he breaks it out right here.
Axford wants to think about it a little bit. Now ready to go. Stanton the lead out at second. 2 down. And the 1-2. Man, did he get jammed. That ball might have hit him right in the right arm if he hadn't swung at it. He's got some bees somewhere right now.
Yeah, I think he actually fouled it off his leg. And I don't know how he got the bat on this ball. Look at it. It might hit him right in the stomach if he doesn't hit it.
Man.
And he fouls it off, and I think it hit him on the leg. Yeah, he fouled it off the inside of his left leg. But this ball is going to hit him in the stomach if he doesn't foul it off. That's how much movement that ball had on it.
Sanchez knows he has to get it going early against 97-98. He's battling, though. He's making Axford work, just like Stanton did before him. The set. And the 1-2 bounced in, and it gets away again. Another wild pitch, and Stanton comes to third.
Now, Russell always tries to backhand these balls instead of blocking him, and that's that hard cutter in the dirt. Gets away from him and again goes up the first base foul line. And you see again, he tries to catch it, actually hit off his shin guard, and Stanton's going to get an extra 90 feet. Russell tries to backhand the short hop, went off his shin guard, and Stanton moves up.
He's at third base. 90 feet away from possibly scoring the first run of the night. 2 down, though, and a 2-2 count on Sanchez. Popped up and back out of play. If you're Axford with 2 wild pitches on that slider, you're a little more worried about throwing it now with a runner at third base.
Absolutely. And he threw that first pitch after that wild pitch was standing at third as a fastball. So now you're really thinking, boy, I got to be careful here. But, you know, he's got such great movement on that fastball. He can throw it inside again to Sanchez. The only pitch he's thrown in the strike zone was that last fastball that Sanchez fouled back.
Even though this is just the 4th batter that Axford's faced, he's already thrown 25 pitches. The Yankees have fouled off a lot of tough pitches and are really making him work. Again, the 2-2 and a swing and a miss. There's that slow curveball you were talking about. Axford strikes out Sanchez, and that'll do it in the top of the 11th.
And watch Russell Martin. He calls for the curveball. He's not going to let this one get away from him. He goes down, squares it up. A textbook block by Martin to complete the inning in the strikeout.
Off pitches. John Axford kept battling them and eventually struck out Gary Sanchez on a curveball in the dirt to end the top of the 11th. No score going bottom 11, and here's Dellin Betances.
Well, Betances, he can be hot or cold. He's got the ability to strike out the side, or he can walk the house. You see his strikeout to walk ratio, 43 strikeouts, 11 walks, and he's averaging almost 15 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings.
He's walked 5 batters in his last 4 innings, though, and this will happen to him from time to time. A reminder, Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka comes your way at the conclusion of the ball game tonight. Kevin Pillar takes a fastball over the outside corner for a strike. Just 2 hits for the Blue Jays tonight. They both came in the 5th, a smoke double and a Morales single.
The Blue Jays have only 6 previous time pitched a shutout of 11 or more innings in their history. Last time they've done that was June 24th, 2015 at Tampa Bay, a 12-inning shutout. I think that's when Chris Colabello hit a home run in the 12th inning.
Pillar got a piece of it, and he's still alive.
Of course, Pillar had that magical trip around the bases with Betances on the mound, and he ultimately stole home.
That's right. He's also 4 for 8 in his career against Betances. Not this time, though. Swing and a miss, 1 down.
Well, we saw Chad Green with that great fastball, and Betances elevates his fastball for the strikeout. Generally, you're going to get more sliders from Betances than fastballs, but the first out of the inning has picked up on a high fastball to Pillar.
Russell Martin's 0 for 2 with a walk and 1 for 6 in his career against Betances. And that fastball is a little bit high for ball 1.
Blue Jays haven't had a base runner since the 6th inning.
Only had 4 base runners in the game. They've only had 5 hits in the 2 games against the Yankees. Only had 3 hits last night. Fly ball left field. And coming on is Stanton. Big swing by Martin, but got it off the end of the bat. 2 down. So Devin Travis will be the batter now. Danny Barnes up next for the Blue Jays if they don't win it here. Travis 0 for 6 in his career against Betances as he lays off that slider for ball 1. Devin tonight, as you can see, is 0 for 3. That runs in, ball 2. And a swing and a miss at a high fastball. Now 2-1 on Travis. Up and in, swing and a miss, 2-2. And everybody's coming out of the pen throwing 97, 98 tonight.
Yeah, that's the Yankee bullpen. They got big arms down there, and they got the biggest arm at the back end.
Yep.
Aroldis Chapman.
Into right field, and that's down for a base hit. Just the 3rd hit of the night for the Blue Jays, and it comes with 2 down here in the 11th.
For Travis, it's his first hit in 7 at-bats against Betances. It's up and away. It sounded like he hit it right off the end of the bat. But he'll take it, a 2-out single here in the bottom of the 11th.
And it'll bring up Aledmus Diaz, who was 0 for 3 on the night and 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts in his career against Betances. 0-1. Travis edging out that lead at first base, does not have a steal so far this season. He's got a big lead, and that'll force Betances to step off.
Yeah, he was running right there. He kept inching off and he kept moving towards second, and Betances, I don't know if Bird hollered at him, but he stepped off the rubber.
Doesn't go, and it's 0-2. They're letting him get pretty far off there at this point. 0-2 may as well send him at this point.
Yeah, I think so, and that's probably what Tim Leeper is saying. Even on this count, more than likely Betances is going to throw a slider.
There he goes, and the pitch is high, and there's no throw, and that's the first steal of the season for Travis. Easy guy to run on for the most part, and if they're going to give it to you, may as well take it.
Yeah, and he kept getting a walking lead, and in that 0-2 pitch, you figured Betances is going to throw a slider. He got a good jump, almost stumbled and fell after he took that first step, but he picks up his first steal, and now the winning run is in scoring position.
With 2 down, the 1-2 outside, and snared there by Romine. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Base hit could do it here in the 11th. The 2-2. Swing and a miss at 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Betances gets Diaz. And we're still going on to the 12th here at Rogers Center. Of the night for the Blue Jays, Danny Barnes.
Well, the bullpen has gone through a rough stretch, but not tonight. Ryan Tepera, Tyler Clippard, Tim Meza, John Axford, and now Danny Barnes. As the bullpen has really done a great job. Barnes making his 25th appearance of the season, and he'll deal with Didi Gregorius, Miguel Andujar, and Austin Romine.
3 remaining relievers, if you're wondering, for the Blue Jays out of the bullpen are O, Loop, and Biagini, all of whom pitched last night. Gregorius 1 for 4 as he pulls one just foul, and it's 0-1. The Blue Jays have had to go deeper into their bullpen than the Yankees have had to go into theirs for a couple of reasons. Gaviglio went 7, Gray went 8, and the Yankees worked some Blue Jay relievers hard, even though the Blue Jays got the outs. But on a normal night, a guy like Axford can probably go 2, but he had to throw a lot of pitches in his 1 inning of work.
Yeah, he threw over 25 pitches, so he was out after that, and he had to make some great pitches to strike out Gary Sanchez.
0-2 from Barnes. Up high with a fastball. again. Two on the way, and it's fouled back by Gregorius, who was on that fastball. Fastball changeup for the most part for Danny Barnes. Gregorius, Andujar, and Romine scheduled here in the 12th for the Yankees. There's the change, but it misses outside, a full count. The dangerous Andujars, the Blue Jays have come to learn. Swing and a miss. Got him with a changeup, one down.
Danny Barnes has been pretty effective against lefties because of this changeup. He threw back-to-back changeups to Didi Gregorius to get to strikeout. That movement away from Gregorius, you can see how he was out in front of that pitch. It takes a wild swing. That's a big out to start the inning.
Now the young slugger Andujar, and a fastball rides in high at 93. It's about top end for Barnes there, but he misses high ball one. 1 for 3 with a walk. The one's a double. 2 for 3 last night, including a grand slam. A little bit high. 2 balls, no strikes. Swing and a miss. You could see where Martin's set up. That ball got a lot more of the plate than they wanted, but they still get a swing and a miss on it.
Yeah, Danny's got some decent deception and movement on his fastball, and although he may have missed his spot, I think it was a good example of how that movement can prove to be effective.
He's thrown Andujar 3 fastballs so far in this at bat. There's another one, but he missed outside. 3-1.
Danny won't throw many sliders, but this is a pretty good time to throw one. 3-1. You got a rookie hitter at the plate, a guy that likes to swing, but they're going back to the fastball away.
Outside for ball 4 and a base runner for the Yankees.
Pretty good take by Andujar. He laid off that outside fastball and works Barnes for the walk.
So that'll bring up Austin Romine. Came in on an 11-game hitting streak. As the first-year manager of the Yankees, Aaron Boone looks on for the first base dugout. Romine 0 for 4 on the night, though, so that hitting streak is in jeopardy. In there for a strike.
Plus, he's a double play candidate. Hits the ball sharply and gets the ball on the ground. Blue Jays, they've not turned a double play tonight.
Russell Martin threw out Didi Gregorius trying to steal back in the 9th inning. And threw out 2 base stealers last night. And Andujar's got 1 on the season.
Blue Jays think something's up with Andujar at first base now.
Not going. Up and in. A ball and a strike now on Romine.
Ball gets up in the end, and Romine has to draw his hands in, ducks out of the way.
Ground ball to third. Solarte, Travis, smoke, and they turn the double play to the bottom of the 12th. No score. late. It's kind of cool in the ballpark. The roof's open. It's not a warm night. They're dancing. They're trying to stay active, trying to stay loose. Russell Martin's in. He's doing the floss.
He's trying to do the floss, figuring if he can get it right now. Attaboy, Russell. He's still got a lot of energy. Who cares about 12 innings? That's pretty cool.
He's
floss,
pretty good. That's pretty good. David Robertson into the game now for the Yankees.
David Robertson hits the 8th inning in last night's game. Didn't give up a hit, didn't walk about it, had a strikeout. Robertson struck out Aledmus Diaz on that great curveball he has. He retired the side in order.
Here's Curtis Granderson to lead it off. Curtis has swung at the first pitch only 8 times all season. That's about 4.5% of his plate appearances. He doesn't do it often. You wonder, though, 12th inning. Maybe try to ambush Robertson in the first pitch and see if he can send everybody home. Does he step out of character here in this scoreless game?
Now, the Yankees might have been thinking that he was looking at it. He swung twice on the first pitch against the Tigers over the course of the weekend, thinking that they too were going to say, oh, he takes everything.
2-0. And a strike, 2-1.
Curtis has had 4 walk-off home runs in his career, and he had one earlier this season against none other than Craig Kimbrell.
On the appeal, he didn't go. 3 balls and a strike. He is 1 for 5 in his career against Robertson. Due up after Granderson, Jan Hervis Solarte and Teoscar Hernandez. No score, bottom 12. And our statistician Scott Carson telling us this day 33 years ago, June 6, 1985, Buck Martinez walked it off with a home run against Aurelio Lopez.
33 years ago. My goodness.
Swing and a miss by Granderson. Let's go to Jamie.
Watch the crowd at home plate to celebrate the walk-off home run. There's the first base coach, and we go back to the dugout. No Gatorade, no sunflower seeds. A 2-0 game, bottom of the 12th against the Tigers.
No shaving cream, none of that stuff.
We went in and had a cold beer.
Here's Solarte, and it's a ball and a strike. Must have felt pretty good around on the bases, though.
Yeah, you know, George Bell got a hit. We didn't have many hits. That was Dan Petrie and Jimmy Key that started that game. One of the best games that we've ever seen in the franchise history. Back and forth. I think Petrie had a no-hitter into the 6th, and Key had a no-hitter into the 7th. It was just a great game.
1-2, and the look on Solarte's face suggests, man, I should have swung at that one. I don't think he was arguing the call. I think he regrets not swinging. Robertson sets and deals. And a swing and a miss and a breaking ball down and in. Back-to-back strikeouts for Robertson.
He's got a great fastball, a very good cutter, and that devastating curveball. And he got Granderson with it. Solarte had a pretty good pitch to hit earlier in his at-bat, and then there's the curveball. Bottom drops out of it. It just disappears. You can see how much break it has on it.
So 2 down. Here's Teoscar Hernandez, who has struck out in all 4 at-bats tonight. You know what, though? If he can end it here, that'll all be in his rear view mirror, right?
Think about that for sure.
Made a very nice defensive play on a sliding catch in foul territory back in the top of the 11th. Count in his favor, 2-0. Now 3-0. If the Blue Jays don't win it here, it'll be Joe Biagini, it looks like, in the 13th. Here it comes. Green light, lined hard to left field, but Stanton will make the catch, and the Blue Jays go in order to inning number 13 when we come back.
Shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. You can visit them at the Toronto Eaton Centre, Rogers Centre Gates 1 and 5, and every in-stadium kiosk, or by visiting jaysshop.ca. Dan.
Now they might have sold a few hoodies tonight, or Ash. It is cool. It was 16 degrees at game time, and game time was a long time ago. It's 13 degrees right now. Roof open, 13 degrees, 13th inning. Here at Rogers Centre, no score between the Yankees and Blue Jays. And here's Joe Biagini.
Biagini pitched in relief last night. Came in the 8th inning and got 2 outs. Charged with a run on 1. He had a strikeout. He started the 8th inning, gave up a single to Stanton, who came in to score on the 3-run home run by Aaron Hicks.
He faces Gleyber Torres to begin the 13th inning. And a strike. Torres tonight 1 for 4, had a base hit back in the 5th. 5 hits for the Yankees tonight. They've left 8 men on. 3 hits for the Blue Jays. They have left 3 runners on. Look at that curveball, man.
Knee buckler. And Torres really buckled when he saw that pitch coming at him and dropped right in there for a strike.
The 0-2. Back to the curveball. Check swing by Torres. After Torres, top of the order, Brett Gardner and Aaron Judge. Down and in. Blue Jays hoping to get Biagini back to where he was a couple of years ago when he was an effective, oftentimes multi-inning reliever. And he got him. Nice mix of pitches against Torres.
But Joe making just his 5th appearance coming out of the bullpen. And you can see that fastball gets past Torres. He didn't have much of a chance. He saw a couple of nasty curveballs in his at-bat, and Biagini strikes him out. Joe made 2 relief appearances back in May and a couple more, and so he's just now starting to get back into the swing of things, pitching out of the bullpen again.
Here's Brett Gardner as the Yankees now start coming up for the 6th time tonight. Gardner's 1 for 5. And an infield hit back in the 5th. Biagini is the 7th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays, who got a great 7-inning performance from Sam Gavilia tonight. 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and threw a season-high 104 pitches. Down and away again, ball 2. Can't put the shift on with a guy like Gardner, who uses the whole field, so Diaz still well on the left side of the infield. Gardner, one of the few left-handed batters who doesn't really see an infield shift at all. Outfielders swung around to the opposite field as well. And this one is lined to left center, and it's down for a base hit. Hernandez cuts it off in front of Pilar, and a nice throw back into second. Gardner held to a single.
Yeah, Teoscar did a good job of cutting that ball off because his momentum would allow him to turn 360 and make a good throw. Pilar would have been running away from the throw had he made the play in center field. So watch Teoscar, spins around and fires a strong throw to keep Gardner at first base. Nice play by Teoscar. He's made a couple of good plays in left field tonight.
And now you got to keep an eye on Gardner. He's got 6 steals and 7 tries. Judge is the batter. 0 for 4 with a walk. Inside, ball 1. Gardner was one of the runners caught stealing last night. Russell Martin threw him out. Still runs pretty well, 34 years of age. And draws a throw.
Yeah, he's not really out there far enough yet to think about running. He needs another foot, maybe 2 feet. Get 12, 13 feet off the bag. Then you're in that go zone.
That hit that Gardner had off Biagini, the first hit in his career against him. Now 1 for 10. Judge has had a lot more luck. He's 4 for 7 against Biagini. Not going. And a swing and a miss. Remember, Judge had that really rough Sunday, or Monday I should say, doubleheader in Detroit. 0 for 9 with 8 strikeouts. Didn't play last night. 0 for 4 with a strikeout tonight. He has walked once tonight. Been a while since a base hit. 1-1. Chased outside, 1-2.
Yeah, you can see Biagini hasn't thrown one in the strike zone yet, but Judge has chased a couple of pitches. Biagini, having that starter mix of pitches, has a pretty good assortment.
And he's thrown all 4 tonight. Fastball, that was the slider. We've seen the curveball through a couple of changes to Gardner. Another throw. Biagini still somewhat stretched out, you'd imagine, from having started earlier in the year. And if this one keeps going, he could be out there a while. No score in the 13th. And the 1-2. Fouled off by Judge. And look where that ball was, right in the middle of the plate.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what happens when you're swinging a lot and missing. You mentioned the 8 strikeouts, but a hitter becomes somewhat tentative, and He just kind of guided that barrel at that ball. That's a pitch that you don't get back very often pitching to Aaron Judge.
One and two, one out, runner at first. And the curveball is hit high in the air, left center field, and Judge has hit it out. Aaron Judge breaks the scoreless tie here in the top of the 13th.
We showed you Judge had 12 home runs against the Blue Jays since the start of the season last year. That's number 13th, and his 17th of the season. Mancini went back to the breaking ball, and Judge hits it into the seats in center. Two strikes. It's hard to get those big power hitters to swing and miss at a breaking ball that's in the strike zone. They'll chase off the plate, but that was in the strike zone, and he hit it.
And the first runs of the night. 2-0 Yankees here in the 13th inning. On the 17th home run of the season for Aaron Judge. And that, of course, gets Aroldis Chapman up. Bird is 0 for 5. Blue Jays will send up Justin Smoke, Kendrys Morales, and Kevin Pillar in the bottom half of the inning. Appeal to third didn't go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Guy's going to hit a lot of home runs in his career.
Hey, he's going to strike out, but you have to live with the strikeouts because that's what he'll do. He'll reward you for your patience and understanding. He's a big man. He's going to win some games for you with one swing of the bat.
Martin shaken up momentarily, appears to be okay. Curveball to Bird, and it's skied into shallow center field. Long run, Pillar, 2 down. Well, if the Yankees win tonight, they'll go to 22 games over 500. That would be their high water mark on the season at 21 games over after 57 games, 39-18. It's the 10th time the Yankees have started a season at least 39-18 through 57 games. And in each of the last 9 times, they've made the World Series. They are in quite a battle with the Boston Red Sox, a battle that looks like it'll rage all through the summer and into the fall. Only one of them can win a division. Somebody going to have to play a wild card game. This ball smoked. I mean, a frozen rope into the first row of seats above the Blue Jay bullpen. Home run, Giancarlo Stanton. And both of the big sluggers for the Yankees go deep, and it's now 3-0.
For Stanton, that's his 6th home run in 9 games here at Rogers Center. And that was a low liner, 14th home run of the season. And the Blue Jays did a great job of keeping them quiet through 12 innings, but they have explosives. This ball comes off the bat at 119 miles an hour. And that was a line shot over the fence in left.
Judge homers, Stanton homers. Here's Sanchez. You blink and you'll miss this one. It got out of here at 119 miles per hour.
Yeah, you don't want to be standing in front of that one. Stanton starting to swing it. Had a couple of home runs in Detroit.
The chopper towards third. Solarte's got it. And that'll do it for the top of the 13th. But the Bronx Bombers do what they do. They hit a couple of homers. One by Judge, one by Stanton. Number 17 on the season for Aaron Judge. Number 14 for Giancarlo Stanton. 3-0 Yankees going to the bottom of the 13th. To Russell Martin in the dugout in the aftermath of that 2-home run, 3-run top of the 13th. Gave up home runs to the two guys who hit about as many of them as anybody in baseball.
Yeah, great power tandem, and they have done the damage for New York tonight. They rolled this Chapman coming into the ball game. Chapman looking for his 15th save of the season. David Robertson is the pitcher record for New York. He's in line for the win. But the Blue Jays, they have come back before, and they've got their work cut out for them. Smoke, Morales, and Pilar for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 13th.
Chapman having a very good year. And a broken bat grounder pulled foul. It's 0-1. He's actually got some competition this year for the hardest thrower in baseball. And in fact, the numbers suggest that Jordan Hicks of St. Louis has thrown pitches harder than Chapman has this year.
Hicks has been up to 105, right?
Yeah.
105.
That's crazy. Inside out swing and a ground ball down to first. Bird will take it himself. One down.
Well, tie ball game, and Aaron Judge gets a breaking ball, comes off the bat at 102.7 miles an hour, 404 feet. But then watch this one. 119.3 miles an hour, a low liner, only 15 degrees of launch angle. And that's about as hard as you'll see a ball hit.
We're being told the second hardest hit ball hit this season. The only one hit harder was by Judge, and it wasn't a home run. It was Morales. So it's 3-0 Yankees in the bottom of the 13th inning. And the Blue Jays in jeopardy of dropping 9 games under the 500 mark to 26-35. If they lose, it would be their 17th loss in their last 22 games. And it would be their first loss in extra innings this year. Blue Jays are actually 5-0 in extra innings coming into this one tonight.
Yeah, and they've really had a rough stretch at home. They've lost 9 of their last 10 home games coming into this game tonight.
Hit hard to center field. Gardner back. Can't make the catch. It's off the wall. Morales on his way to second. And in there in a slide.
I'm still amazed at how many fastballs they have thrown to Morales throughout this game. That's his second hit. He's got half of the Blue Jay hits tonight. This ball just about a foot from being a home run. Brett Gardner, the center fielder, back jumps, and it's just over his reach. And look at Judge. He's right there to back up the play. Gardner jumps, and it's beyond his reach, but there's Judge to back him up. Just off the top of the fence, about another foot, and that one's a homer.
So it's a double for Morales. There's one down in the inning, and here's Kevin Pillar. And he'll take a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in for a strike. Pillar is 0 for 4 tonight and 2 for 5, including a double in his career against Aroldis Chapman.
.99.
Sportsnet Central coming your way next as soon as the ball game is over. Chapman is 14 for 15 in save situations this year. He's got 218 career saves as a member of the Reds, the Cubs, and the Yankees. And a career ERA of 2.17. Pillar somehow gets up high enough to get a piece of that one and fouls it back. You can see, though, at times in his career, although he's never blown a save opportunity, it says there, but at times they've gotten to him and have scored a few runs off him here and there. It is a monumental task, though, to come back from 3 runs down against a guy like Aroldis Chapman. 0-2. Misses with the slider. And wants a new ball.
Memory serves, I think the Blue Jays got to him in Cincinnati. I remember a game Blue Jays played against the Reds in Cincinnati where they got to Chapman late in that ball game. It was one of those back and forth games, a lot of runs scored. I think they got to him in that game.
Morales, the runner out at second. There's one out. And a slider freezes Pillar for strike 3 called, and that's out number 2.
Not much you can do with that one. After looking at 99, a couple of fastballs earlier in the at bat. There you can see that slider. Just can't pull the trigger off the plate to begin with, and then comes in and breaks over the outside corner.
So 2 down, and it'll be up to Russell Martin to try to extend it and get the tying run to the plate. Martin has never had a hit in his career off Chapman. He's 0 for 8.
You know, that game I was talking about was the first appearance of Chapman's career against the Blue Jays. It was in June of 2014. He was tagged with the loss in a 14-9 game.
How many runs they get off him in that game?
4.
4. Wow.
4 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He walked a couple, gave up 2 hits.
Ball 2, and to the mound goes Romine. Off day for the Yankees tomorrow. They'll start a series at Citi Field against the Mets on Friday. And no rest for the weary for the Blue Jays. They've got the Orioles coming in, and Baltimore played a day game today, so they've been here for several hours already. 4-game series starting tomorrow. And a ground ball to the left of Gregorius. He's got it and will make the play on to first, and the Yankees will win it. Scoreless through 12, and then the Yankees are up for 3 runs in the top of the 13th as their 2 biggest sluggers each hit home runs. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. And the Yankees go to 22 games over 500 at 40-18 on the season. The Blue Jays drop to 9 under at 26-35.
Yeah, the Yankees improved to 15-9 against the AL East, and it's tough to keep those big sluggers down. The Blue Jays managed just 7 hits in the 2 games against New York, and you just can't win many games when you can't string hits together. But the Yankees pitchers did a good job, and the big sluggers came through tonight late in the ball game.
Blue Jays and Orioles tomorrow night as the homestand continues. But time now for Sportsnet Central. Here are Ken and Ivanka.